Rivalries can elevate us, but they can also bring out the darkness that resides within ourselves. McGregor had Khabib, Jones had Cormier, and Trixie had Fadinator. But now Haroon, the brand new Xbox champion, has Tadpole. It's no secret these two men have a heated rivalry with one another, and now it's reached its boiling point. Haroon shocked the world and brought PrimeTime to its knees when he defeated Trixie in a shocking one-sided beatdown to become the new champion. A man who took over the throne and is now set to defend it. Haroon had a performance for the ages that left everyone speechless. Everyone except Tadpole. Enter the number one contender, a man so diverse, so devastating, so well experienced in battle, whose warrior heart has developed scars, but nothing has stopped it beating. Tonight, as we welcome PrimeTime back to the Octagon, and we all bear witness to one of the most highly anticipated fights in the history of the league. This rivalry cannot be ended with words, but only by the one way they know how to: fighting. These men will not be satisfied until one of them is the last man standing. Hate for one another that burns deep. Tonight, as PrimeTime goes live and the seats fill the arena, we will witness more than a fight. We will witness a battle of wills, a war of attrition, and at the end of the night, one will sit upon the throne and the other will bend the knee to the king. So, get ready for battle, get ready for war, get ready for PrimeTime 47.
What is going good, everybody? It is PrimeTime 47. I am your host, Cyrus the Looney. Pleasure to be here as always. An excellent intro to set up a fantastic night of fights. As mentioned, we have Haroon, current champion after that blowout victory over Trixie in his last performance. Able to secure that belt. Going to see if he's able to defend it for the first time up against a veteran of the scene. A man that has seen it all before and believes he has the answers for Haroon here tonight, trying to get that goal for the first time. But joining me in the booth, we do have Doctor Who, the Damien Meyer main, as we heard on the intros, and making his debut here this evening is very own TMF Avoiders. How you doing, lads? Hope you're excited ahead of tonight's fights.
Always a lovely introduction written by the ever grateful LW Reaper. As you mentioned, we main event of Haroon versus Tadpole, a new champ versus a new number one contender. You got the co-main of AJ Bazaz versus Filthy Uncle Ben. We feel Filthy Uncle Ben coming up in the rankings. He's been putting no pressure on everybody from top to bottom. Avoider, this card is stacked.
Yeah, you are right there. This card is stacked. You got to open the prelims. You got TFA Evo and TFA Funky. That'll be an interesting fight, teammates. You also got on the card. Who is it? You got Broomstick, who's known in the leagues, quite big. You also got Keza versus Jakey, former teammates. Quite an interesting matchup there. I'm looking forward to this.
Yeah, for sure, brother. Like you say, top to bottom, even from the earliest get-goes. We do a lot of fights within PrimeTime MMA over here, Doc. We have some of the uned fights, allowing people to build up some of their records. And of course, as we continue to develop them, we see we see these guys be able to earn their way onto these live cards, and when they get to this stage, we've seen it time in, time out, people really, really elevate their games. They feel the pressure of the bright lights. Sometimes, diamonds are formed and people shine brightly, manage to rocket themselves up into that title talk, and of course other times not so easy to rise to the occasion.
Yeah, the pressure is number one game within a league fight. If you can cope with that pressure, you're going to do the best. You've seen the best of the best do it. You got Fadinator just below the co-main. He understands that pressure. And the newly appointed Hayes, he's got to make sure that he can cope with that pressure, especially against a mighty opponent like Fadinator, who's well-versed in it. You mentioned Keza versus Jakey earlier. Both of them are well-equipped. You got Aaron, who we saw last night, struggle under that pressure, but came back and got the victory. The entire fight game is about confidence, about pressure, making sure you can handle yourself under the bright light.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So Avoider, as you rightly said a little bit ago, TFA Evo and TFA Funky are the two men up to start out the evening. These guys are campmates. I believe they're a camp that you're pretty familiar with. I know that the TMF boys have fought quite a lot with those guys. So what do you know about Big Funky and Evo Panda there, brother?
So I fought both men, both really good fighters. They both like to stand up and trade. Evo, he will try and take you down and try and submit you. I've only fought Funky a couple times. It's always been a stand-up brawl between us two. But with Evo, he's a bit more like he's got more in his arsenal. Let's say he likes to mix it up. He'll like to take you down. He'll like to try and submit you.
It's interesting to note there, Doc. I mean, obviously, two closely contested competitors. Whoever's has the ability to kind of dictate whether the fight takes a little bit, whether it be via that takedown or the ability to stuff that takedown, often kind of leads to one guy being getting their hand raised.
Yeah, just being able to... The takedowns are your core game. That's the entire game of MMA. You have the boxing, you have the striking. We all know this. We all know how to strike. We all know how to box. It's kind of instinct. Making sure you have established jab, making sure you have an established strike. The takedown is where it gets tricky. If you can understand the grappling department, you can understand how to read your opponent down there, avoider. That's going to make or break your game.
Yes, exactly. As you can see there, they've had a few spars. He's 6-1 up. This should be really interesting. Like you've got Gaethje, Funky's going Gaethje, and Evo is going Dustin Poirier.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, 6-1 going into it. That can't always dictate where the fight's going to go. Like you said, the bright lights do change things just a little bit. But I imagine that being so comfortable with each other here, Doc, that they're probably going to pour the pressure on from the opening bell just like this, and not waste any time with the feeling out process.
Yeah.
Yeah, neither wasting them time on the feeling out process. Goes for an instant takedown there. Lovely job. Poirier has got the better bottom game, but we've all known that Gaethje has some interesting top game, especially he can get the ground and pound off with the power he does have. It's going to land hard and it's going to land heavy, but we see a rubber guard straight into rubber guard here, avoider.
I was very interested to see Funky going for the takedown, to be honest.
Maybe he heard you, brother. Maybe he heard you out the back saying that the other guy was the more well-rounded. Maybe he wanted that takedown, saying, look, I can do it. And he gets a rock as well. Big Funky pouring it on. Everything seems to be landing at least on the block here, Doc. And you know how quickly that starts to stack up, especially in the early rounds.
Yeah, making sure that block is done and dusted in the first. We've seen how someone like well-established bang, bang, that overhand went straight through it, putting on his pressure now. Works that body a bit, starting to land some ground and pound. Lovely blocking, does get the slip there, avoider, and managed to survive.
Come on, attempt.
Yeah, this is going to be pretty close, but he's doing such a good job of tracking it early that he may even get it, Doc. You know the first 25% is the most important. All he has to do is keep it up for a little bit longer, and that's going to skyrocket the submission bar to the finishing line.
Well, a bit of the good defense is skyrocketing the escape bar, and you can see he may have had a bit of success in the beginning. It seems like Gaethje's going to get out of it here, but we all know how him and his sub-defense goes.
Oh, he's out.
In a pretty dangerous spot here as well, right, avoider. I mean, if he's able to stop that transition, which he isn't.
That's correct.
Lots of ground and pound opportunities available, but they're scrambling quite actively at the moment, as you see once again.
Oh, nice slip there.
It's a fantastic slip. Getting into top mount. Could look for a bit of ground and pound. Doesn't do so. Postures up as his opponent goes into half guard. A minute, half a second left on the clock. I'm not particularly sure, but a reversal there followed by that avoider. And
very
nice. Seems to be a mixture of grappling across the board.
It is, yeah. I got this whole fight wrong, I presume. I thought they were going to stand and bang, but these guys want to wrestle, which is quite interesting. Yeah. When I fought both of them, they did try and take me down. I remember Funky. Oh, another drop there.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think they're doing a little bit of everything right here, and the head health is almost gone on Panda. A lot of the success is coming the way of Big Funky here this evening, as he goes for an omoplata, I believe it is, which is a sneaky submission to go into, especially if he chains it even. Yeah, that's a Goga.
This is very interesting.
He's looking pretty strong. Both of them staying neck and neck. It may go like the Kimura attempt. However, the blue is definitely covering up. This is close, but with the round drawing to a close, I'm not particularly sure who wins that round, avoider. Yeah,
I'm not sure who. It was a very close round. To be honest, I did say I don't have a clue, but I think Funky's takes that round due to the knockdowns and the top control he's had.
Yeah, I think I agree with you there, Avoider brother. It's he got a couple of big knocks in that round, as you see, 2 knockdowns, 2 stuns. You know, some top control from Evo. When it hit the mat, they seem to be a lot more evenly kind of contested over here, Doc. But when he was on the feet, I think Big Funky just kind of had that killer instinct to pour on the pressure and land the bigger of the shots.
Yeah, Big Funky seems to have the killer instinct you need in this fight. Even the grappling, you need it, and does miss it. Goes for the pullback elbow, doesn't get that bit of head movement there. Superman punch follows suits, and both of them are trying to play this aggressive game. Evo's evidently
never rock
back to the beginning round, but he's already stunned here, Avoider.
Yeah, he's stunned. He needs to start. I reckon. Yeah. He's
back to that, brother. Yeah,
go for a takedown. Yeah, sorry, I was watching. Yeah, he needs to go for the takedown. He needs to try and finish by a submission because he is down. His head health is really low. It's not looking well. It could go any way. You know, you never know in an MMA fight. But he needs to try and take it down. Try and go for a submission because it's not looking great for him as of right now.
No, I completely agree with you. His stamina in a pretty good spot, but the offense is continuing from Big Funky. Of course, we can't see his, so we can't see if the output has really started to kind of affect his ability cardio-wise here, Doc. But you know the score. When you're landing on your opponent, when you're not missing shots, a lot of the time your stamina's basically sound throughout the entire bout.
Well, you hope so. I have known a few occasions where I've gassed myself out from trying to hit my opponent too much. As we see a submission attempt here, I think this was a Peruvian necktie. I could be wrong. Decent tracking. Doesn't seem like the red bar's going to escape. It always seems to be they're just narrowly avoiding the escape from both opponents. I think you may be looking at Gaethje getting a reversal here.
Yeah. He should have let go of that because he knew he wasn't going to submit him then. He should have just let go because he was wasted stamina. And now he's on bottom again. Ooh. Stand up.
Yeah, I mean, the overhands seem to be flying from Big Funky, and he's landed a couple of them as well. Obviously, the damage bleeding through heavily. The block is basically destroyed due to the accuracy of Big Funk across this fight. But Evo is not going away here. Doc continues to try and fire some big shots of his own, and he's having a little bit of success. I mean, it's just difficult to say how much due to the the health not being there. Oh my God.
Could be over.
God, it is over. Finish. It seemed like Evo was trying to make a comeback at the very end of that round, but Gaethje stayed patient. He looked for his openings, and from that point, he just found that one uppercut and put Poirier to sleep, Avoider.
Yes, you're right. He was waiting for that opening. He had a perfect game plan going into this. Unfortunately, Evo didn't pull out his game, but Funky looked really great tonight. Great improvements by both guys.
Yeah, I mean, look, there's a lot of pressure on these events to really perform on your A game. It's it's one of those ones that you can train with your teammates for a long time, kind of put in the work, and if you're not finely tuned come game time, then ultimately you can kind of throw away that work that you've had. But a lot of the best players in the world out here, Doc, and the people who you see making the biggest advancements, they don't rest on their laurels, and I'm sure neither guy will here. Head should be raised high. I mean, that was a really, really fun fight. It kicked off the night in the correct fashion. Quite simply put, the primetime guarantee holds true from the first fight to the last, Doc, and I expect that to be the momentum, basically throughout the entire card, brother.
Yeah, we just hope to continue that momentum. It's the mainstay of the fight game. Keeping the momentum going, just making sure you put in fight after fight. Mentioning that, you've got the ranking system, which rewards getting a first-round finish. So that's the aim of the game. If you get a first-round finish, you get more points. That puts you higher up in the rankings, most likely. And that's what seems to be the end goal, that fight towards gold, Avoider.
Yes, 100%. I can see Funky moving up the rankings now from that finish. I totally agree with you.
Yeah, look, just to jump in on that point really quickly, sorry, Avoider, mate. Obviously, with the new ranking systems, you get points for finishes, right? So the earlier you get the finish, whether it be a KO or a submission, they basically equate to the same amount of points. So actively pushing for those finishes, makes a big, big difference now going forward into this future season with Primetime MMA.
Yes, 100%. It'll encourage fighters now to finish instead of just going the whole 3 rounds, 5 rounds, which I haven't got a problem if it's interesting,
yeah. Definitely, brother.
You don't want to be watching a snooze fest. That's for sure.
Exactly. It does definitely de-incentivize some of the more point fighting styles, although, ultimately a win is a win, and that's going to kind of continue to catapult you as well. But with all of that being said, it takes us on to our first PlayStation bout of the evening, Doc. We're going to have Mega Tony up against Kev Space, or Little Mark L. So yeah, I expect big things from these times. I know Mega Tony. I've seen him about the scene, and I'm pretty sure I've heard of Kev as well here. Do you know too much about them yourself there, Doc?
Both of them are an interesting time. Megatony is a veteran of the game. Kevin, I believe, is a newly debuter, so it's going to be a fun time to watch these two in the welterweight division.
Well, we see it in the chats. Let's go, Kev. He's got some support in the chat. Like I said, I've heard of the guy. I know that he's kind of competed in other kind of esporting communities out there. So, like I said, it'll be interesting to see what waves he can make up against a veteran. It's at the beginning of the season out here, Avoider, and at this time where everybody's kind of on 0-0 records, 1-0 records, and the such, unless you're already in the top 15, I suppose, it opens up, like I said at the beginning of the card, the opportunity to get your name known. You're literally 1 or 2 fights away from catapulting yourself into, a very, very big spot.
Yes, you are right there. It is interesting because I'm not really sure about the PlayStation side. I know a few big names of the PlayStation, but as of right now, I'm not sure of these two guys, and I do apologize, but I'm very interested to see flying either.
Well, Avoider, if you didn't know, you're about to know Kev L turning up with a flying knee, trying to make sure, Doc, that he doesn't allow GSP to point find him, poke him with that jab, and maybe shoot in for that takedown.
Well, I mean, the flying knee is definitely a risk when you go for a takedown, but it seems like GSP's happy to come back. He's already coming back, kicking, getting that jab straight established. A hook does land, a straight follow suit. Both of these guys using very basic techniques and a couple of wild ones just to build up their entire game here, Avoider.
Yes, they are using very basic techniques. Nothing wild apart from that flying knee at the start. I think he was trying to do a Ben Askren then. Right at the start.
Yeah, he was, brother. He was trying to end this fight before it started, trying to get on that record book, getting the quickest knockout in primetime history. The takedown defense holds true for him, though, here, Doc. And I'm liking what I'm seeing from Kev. I mean, Big Tony is quite clearly coming here to bang this evening, even though he's GSP. He's more of the rush GSP of old. But Kev L is definitely game and going for some big damaging shots, not really kind of looking too much to conserve that stamina, just looks to be trying to land that damage as quickly as he can.
Well, he's getting that jab established so quickly, making it very effective as well. Does go for a switch kick, doesn't get it. Gets that, though, a hook and a straight to follow. 2 minutes 30 left on the clock. It seems like Masvidal's having a lot better time here. He's just a bit cleaner, just a bit more effective across the board with shots.
He needs to start blocking those body kicks, mind. And if you look, we're 2 minutes into, 3 minutes into the fight, sorry, and look at both of their staminas. These guys want to get him out quickly.
Yeah, they are not wasting any time, brother. Zero feeling out process. Honestly, I've noticed from the PlayStation side of things, obviously a little bit newer, but they all like to throw those hands. And look at the rips that Masvidal's going. Leaves himself vulnerable, though, Doc. And now... Oh my God, the defense, the takedown defense of Kev L, it's on another plane, brother. It is on another plane.
I mean, takedown defense against a GSP is what you need, and it showcases that with the hands, the body kick trying to land there, both of them on stimulus stamina, but it looks like GSP slowly gassing out at a correct pace. That jab of Masvidal's is such a thing to take note of as well.
That is right, yeah. His jab is playing a big factor in this fight. And also his takedown defense. He's doing really well. We just had a wild exchange then. This fight is really wild. And we got 30 seconds left in this fight. And their stamina. Christ, this is going to be fun if it goes into the third round.
I can't imagine it would. I mean, you got to remember the recovery's pretty good, but I have to say, man, these guys are cold-blooded out here. They're doing fantastic work, really fighting in that pocket, pushing the pace throughout the entire 5 minutes of that opening round, Doc. And I think that that sort of momentum is not stopping anytime soon. The second round comes around, they're going to be trying to, kind of go full pedal to metal, so to speak. A lot of guys, brother, a lot of guys trying to get those first-round finishes these days.
A lot of guys are trying to go to finishes, as we discussed. We know why they're trying to get it, and it looks like Masvidal understands already without even having been told. He's looking for that finish quickly. Does get a lovely calf kick there, GSP does. Now starting on this pressure again. Both of them playing this back and forth battle, Avoid.
Yeah, these guys, they're going for it. There was no touch of gloves then, I noticed. These guys, they just want to bang. They're like, no touch of gloves, let's just bang, guys.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure they'll be friends after the bout, but right now it's all business, brother. It is all business. And I have to say, Kev L, he just seems like a man on a mission. I think that was a well-timed takedown and a well-needed one here, Doc, to try and take Kev off this kind of momentum that he was building. He really started to kind of seem like the striking was coming together as a whole there.
Yeah, the striking was starting to come together. He was chasing at the end, wasn't cutting another cage off, which I think evidently gave way to the takedown as well. But it does get him into full guard, which is where you want to be. You want to maintain your opponent in full guard, either look for a reversal or look for a get up from this position. Yes, a reversal,
nice
avoider, and
reversal.
this could be a massive change of pace here.
Yes, this could be really good for Kev L. He's doing really great on the ground. I believe on the feet. Sorry, I believe JSP has got the wrestling advantage. If I were Jorge, I would probably try and stand up because he was having more success on the feet. He's having success right now. You never know.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're ultimately right in terms of statistics. Of course, GSP is quite, definitely going to have better statistics in terms of the grappling, but it's about who's behind the sticks out here as well there, isn't it? So as we're seeing, I mean, Kev L is playing this game with just ice in his veins, more than happy to engage on the mat, and he's having a massive amount of success, Doc. You've got to be impressed with some of the transition denials this man's able to get off.
Well, both he got the transition now there. Those side saddle elbows are so deadly. Could go for a mount here instead. Goes to the ground pound. Slowly getting a bit more head health done. GSP's chin is kind of sketchy at the best of days. On the mention towards about his grappling, though, I believe Masvidal's top game is kind of equivalent to GSP's bottom game. GSP's a top game wrestler, not bottom game, and so if he ends up on bottom, he actually has a bit of a hard time getting back up, I find.
Yes, this is right. But it's looking really great for Kev L. He's put on a clinic tonight. He's doing really well on the ground. Quite interested to see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately here as well, Doc, right? If you're GSP, you definitely had grappling on the kind of a part of your mind, at least, if maybe not the forefront, right? It was going to be part of your repertoire, but when you take your opponent down, get reversed, and then he spends the remainder of that round, or the lion portion of the round, doing this to you right here, just going from transition to transition, raining down ground and pound, attacking that block and overall head health, it's going to be a little bit dissuading and maybe going to attack the confidence of his opponent, Megatoni, going into this third.
Yeah, knowing your opponent has the grappling repertoire to compete with you on the ground, even when you're using a main grappler, it's going to definitely whittle down your confidence, and that's what the name of the game is. It's the confident. It's making sure that you're more confident than your opponent here.
I agree. Yeah.
Confidence goes a long way. You're going to be overconfident, but that doesn't seem to be a problem with either person here. Avoider, I think that they're both taking this very, very seriously. They're looking to get the damage off in every way they can, and they're making necessary adjustments, right? They've recognized that first round, they couldn't continue with that momentum, so they have slowed down a little bit, but they're continuing to land big damage on both ends.
Yeah, you're right there. That first round was just wild. That second, then, they have slowed down a lot. Oh, there's a nice uppercut. Then on a drop there. Oh.
A calm before the storm, Doc. It looks like Kev L is turning it up once again in the third round. Got the head health blinking of Tony and gets the reversal on the takedown, D. Beautiful work. I mean, he's definitely building some momentum in the third and final round here.
He's building momentum indeed, Looney, but you also remember he let his opponent up. It was that clever idea. He could get a finish. We've already seen a axe kick around. He did try to land a flying knee there. GSP's cage is against the wall, but your opponent
nice.
Bro, Kev L is cold on this game. I appreciate this guy striking. His patience, his all-around approach. He's not looking to get the fight on the, the finish on the ground here, Doc, and I appreciate what you're saying. It may be the, kind of more prudent move, but I just don't think he wants to get tied up again for a period of time. He seems to be oozing with confidence, Avoider, and continuing to hunt for this finish, which is highly appreciated, my man.
Jesus. Yeah, if I was Kevel right now, I'd be oozing with confidence. He's looking for that one-shot knockout. He's got that takedown defense perfectly. He's just looking for that one perfectly timed hook or flying knee. He is just dominating right now. And what a takedown defense by Kevel.
I think it's, well, what is it? Almost 100% out here, dog. I think he's given away one takedown, and he got the reversal off it. Has to be careful of shit like that, though. I mean, one wrong move.
Hey, nearly getting it. A switch kick nearly gets caught, but a minute 20 left on the clock. Kevin L still putting on his pressure. He's fairly gassed out like his opponent. GSP is so dead nearly, and somehow he's still alive fighting back. This fight should have been ended in the second, but has managed to nearly make it to a decision here, Avoider.
Yes. Oh, he's dropped him again. He should finish this. If he wants to earn those big points, he needs to finish this guy right now, because he is looking fantastic right now, especially... Oh, just got the takedown. I was about to mention his takedown defense.
Yeah, I mean, it has held through for the entire night, to be fair, and honestly, his defense on the ground means that I think this is going to go to the decision, and if it does, I don't see any way that Kevel doesn't get the victory here, Doc. I mean, he looked pretty dominant in, well, a good section of that fight, brother.
He did. For the most part, it was very effective, very calm, very patient in how he approached it. He let GSP overexert himself, and then Masvidal came back, picked up the pieces, and he didn't want to grapple, but when he was forced to, he did it fantastically, and he did it well.
Exactly right. We're about to see this decision here, Avoider. I think that you'd agree probably going to go to the way of Jorge Masvidal after that performance.
I agree there, yeah. That was a dominating performance by Kevel. That was a really good fight. These are the fights that I love to watch. People just standing and not much head movement, just in the pocket, fighting. Don't give a damn. It's sort of like how I fight. Just don't give a flying damn.
No, that was a great bout back and forth. Like I said, I know Megatoni will be back better than ever. He continues to make improvements. Kevel, though, coming through this evening, putting out a massive output. Just seeing behind the scenes here, 120 significant strikes thrown on the side of Kev L, as opposed to Megatoni's 50. But yeah, no, that was a big performance from him, and he's putting his name on the map here, Doc, from the beginning, saying that we didn't know too much about him other than hearing some rumors out in the rumor mill of him being a very effective player, a very good player. He proved that here this evening, taking out a guy that's been around the scene for quite some time now.
Yeah, he really did a fantastic job. That was a brilliant striking clinic. He had grappling mixed in across the board. It was a very well diverse set of skills, and be interesting to see where he goes from here.
Well. These couple fights to start out the night have been fantastic. The second fight, of course, is now in the history books. We are going to be moving on to AJS Assassin and the one and only LW Ernesto. These two guys, another couple of gentlemen that's been on the scene for a little while here, Doc. Just to throw it back to you, the AJS camp and the LW camp both been growing in numbers for quite some time, putting together some really, really reputable wins, and I'm interested to see what these two particular fighters kind of match up like, because I know that the LW boys, the AJS boys, they all have very, very interesting matchups because they're quite contrasting styles between the two different camps.
Words are not my speciality, it seems like currently. Assassins is across the board a fantastic striker. As far as I'm aware, he's got an ineptitude for... ineptitude? Avoider, take it away, please. That was awful.
Right, yeah. Recently we've had camp wars with AJs, and AJs have really improved over the last few months. Not quite sure about Assassins. If I'm honest, I'm still new to the scene. I still don't know everyone properly. And I do apologise, Assassins.
You're all good, brother. You're all good. I mean, like you say, Doc has heard some rumours about the man having some effective striking skills, and I wouldn't be too surprised. I mean, ultimately, AJS as a whole, they do bring out some really, really interesting strikers. They have an unorthodox style that catches a lot of people off guard. It's nice to see some variance in the striking kind of metas that are being put out there, Doc, and like I said, that camp in particular, the LW boys, amongst, basically all the camps that we're seeing these days kind of have their own kind of signature movements, their own signature styles that separates them from from the competition.
Their own signature style is how you want to play it, just being able to make yourself known, because that is one of the cool ways you build yourself up, build a reputation, is having those signature styles. And so by making a style your own, by following it, whether it's in leg kicks or body kicks or some type of one type of strike, KM's kind of known for their weird takedown, fake takedowns into flying knee stuff, and that's kind of the way you want to do it, Avoider.
Yes, you are right there.
Well,
Takedowns is a big key here.
Yeah, I think it could play a factor. I mean, Robert Whittaker's such a well-rounded fighter. That's assuming that that's actually who they're going to be playing as. But he switches up to Marvin Vettori. We've got to hold our judgments on their picks, right? But you're probably right, especially with that mix-up of choice avoider. I imagine that somebody like Marvin Vettori is going to want to be shooting in for those takedowns, going to want to be getting the fight to the mat a little bit, and of course, somebody like AJS Assassin here now, seeing that Marvin Vettori pick, likely going to want to keep it on the feet and utilize some of that crispy, clean boxing that that obviously Robert Whittaker has.
Oh, definitely. It's quite interesting to see someone not using Robert Whittaker. Robert Whittaker is really good, but it's very nice to see people mixing it up, using different fighters, like Marvin Vettori, great grappler. If he gets you to the ground, and if the guy behind the stick is really good, you can hold him there. You can look for submissions, or you can look by finish him via ground and pound.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. I think you'd agree with me as well, Doc. I mean, somebody like Marvin Vettori has a sneaky amount of power in those hands. He can add up pretty quickly, especially when you're pinned to the mat and your head doesn't have anywhere to go. Just getting blasted by that ground and pound could be a little bit problematic. But Assassin not wasting any time getting the reversal, Doc.
A reversal into the get-up. He knows that Vettori wants it on the ground. Let's not keep it on the ground and keep it on the feet. We want to stand up. We're looking for that first round finish, it seems, already making sure that jab is established, wasting no time in having a feeling out process here, Looney.
Yeah, exactly right, brother. And I think that's been the case throughout each and every fight here this evening. These guys not wasting any time with a feeling out process, quite clearly warming up in the back of, in an effective fashion with their teams. Because I think we're seeing the results of that in these performances of Oida there. Like you say, coming out very, very quickly, trying to get that finish early or trying to make the necessary adjustments if they can't get them out in that first round to, get their hand raised through the second and the third.
Yes, you're right there. At the minute, at the start, it looked like they did want to take each other out straight away, and you got Marvin Vettori taking him down with hardly any stamina. Then that was great. This could be really good for Ernesto. If you could hold him here now, just waste his stamina, maybe attack the body a little bit, knees to the body, or crucifix, land some elbows down. Get that health low, and then maybe in the second round, then you can pick him apart. Who knows? We shall see.
Yeah, perfectly said, brother. I mean, obviously the ground and pound does stack up in a very, very sneaky way, Doc. It doesn't take too many big shots to land to really, really kind of separate your opponent from their consciousness. And I have to say that AJS's Assassin's stamina right now definitely worse for wear. Marvin Vettori seems to be playing the stamina game in an incredibly effective way, and I think that's the advantage he's looking to take into the second and third round.
Yeah, the advantage you want to play if you're against Whittaker, maybe the stand game. However, he's got the recovery. We've all seen this, and we know how quickly he can recover in between rounds. He's got 50 seconds left to do as much damage as he can. He slips straight into that top man. On Ernesto's grappling seems to be very well equipped. He may have struggled a bit earlier on purely because of nerves, but that takedown shot he also shot early to bring back to mention it was very, very well timed.
Well, I think we're about to see a second round. 10 seconds in the first. Yeah. Marvin Vettori, for the most part, your avoider kind of running away with this first round. He does get reversed at the end, but nobody really gives a kind of damn at that point, right? I mean, there's only 2 seconds left, so.
Yeah, no one gives a damn. Oh, pardon me. I do apologise. It was quite interesting to see that reversal, but like you said, no one gives a damn. Let's see what this second round brings us now. Touch of gloves. Here we go.
Well, looks like we're having Marvin Vettori taking the back foot, potentially looking for his opponent to overextend here, Doc, and try to get in on that takedown. But AJS Assassin starting out with some body kicks, trying to equalize that stamina and maybe get his opponent to lower the hands to come back up over the top.
Coming down low and over the top, the jab straights are exactly what you need to do. So does go for the takedown, doesn't get it this time. Assassin's takedown defense evidently appearing. Now holding low block, but if you're going to hold low block, you're going to be met with those jab straights of always, and they're going to add up and do the damage.
Yeah, see, it was a bit questionable then why he was holding his body, because it does open a lot of head strikes. But this is very interesting because, as you can see, the stamina game, Marvin Vettori has got that stamina advantage right now. I would like to see him take him down and maybe just hold him down again. Maybe get him in the crucifix, start working the body a little bit if you don't get in the crucifix.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think the grappling is where he's going to want to go. But, I mean, ultimately, with that takedown defense of Robert Whittaker a moment ago, I think it's made him a little bit hesitant. I don't know if you guys agree, but he goes for it again. Is he able to get it? No. It holds true. I mean, that's confidence building, to say the least, Doc, for somebody like AJS Assassin, who had a difficult round on the mat in that first round.
Well, it doesn't help that Vettori's also on his back foot, so he's kind of desperate for that shot because as he's getting pressured, he's getting pinned against the cage, and he feels like his only option is to take down. Finally, does get it there as he started putting on the pressure. 2 minutes left on the clock. The stamina in his favor as well. If he can get to top mount, if he can get to side control, he'll have a lot more effective timing.
Back into full side mount there. AJ Assassins was looking great on the feet. Reversal here by Assassins. Maybe stand them up. Oh, do you know what? I might as well not speak because they're doing exactly what I'm thinking.
Yeah, well, I think you were right. I mean, look, Marvin Vettori, when he hit the mat, was definitely trying to work that body with some of those little kind of bunny shots from the half guard postured down position. But on the mat now, he's feeling a lot more confidence because of the stamina advantage that he has and some of the damage he's been able to do on the mat, Doc. It's kind of starting to mount up, and you can quite clearly see that Marvin Vettori's coming out of his shell here, so to speak, and feeling that he's going to be struggle to be beat no matter where this fight goes.
Well, now he's starting to elbow his opponent. A couple of small shots. Does try to get out of it. Doesn't get it successfully.
Looking for an armbar.
With 30 seconds left. This Americano, I doubt, is going to do much, especially with how he's holding those triggers.
Yeah, he does bail on it, goes for the ground and pound option instead. I think that's a good choice. This could be a hard position to get out of if your opponent knows what they're doing and you've got a stamina advantage. I mean, imagine if he didn't do that and you had an extra 5-10 seconds of being able to rain down those elbows. That health would have been obliterated going into the third and final round, I do believe, Avoider, but he did do a good job of getting off the damage, nevertheless.
He did, yes, that's correct. We are going to see a huge stamina advantage and head health difference. If I was Robert Whittaker right now, I would just go balls to the wall, just start swinging, try and get that knockout, because at the minute that second round was close until he got taken down, so nice drop there. That was a nice straight then, but
yeah. I have to just say that, I mean, Ernesto quite clearly, like I said, starting to run away with it. That power now, I mean, with the stamina advantage. I mean, maybe he's decided to switch it up out here, Avoider. Maybe he says, I can wrestle too. Anything you can do, I can do better. But, I mean, he's in a pretty dire spot. That stamina not going to really pay dividends. I think he does, like you said, need to wait for a moment and then explode, really kind of let loose with everything he's got, because otherwise Marvin Vettori's going to continue to pick at him just like this. I mean, nice front kick, but it's just, there's not enough adding up for him, I feel, to turn the tides.
Whittaker's putting on the pressure. However, he's not really leading the fight. Vettori's choosing when to come in. That double jab with the straight is playing his main game here. It seems to be what is his entire focus is around getting that jab established, following it behind a straight or mixing in a takedown. It's allowing it. The front kick's having a bit of success, but with that stam, unless he finds a big counter shot window, unless he ducks a head kick, comes up with a front kick, he's going to have not much success. However, we do see a takedown defense there, which is nice.
Yeah, and just to kind of add on to that, the LW boys, I mean, in my mind, when I first kind of seen them come through the scene, they just had a lot of really good counter strikers, right, Doc? I'm sure you remember, you know, the kind of the formation of LW, but they've recently been adding a lot of kind of grappling to their game as well, and I think that that combination of using that counter striking and the offensive grappling means that they're able to get leads like this on their opponents and just chip away at them to a point that they really don't have much left.
A very slow, methodical pace is the way you're going to go. Being a counter-striker, being a grappler, it's all about patience, and that's what Ernesto's showing. He's not putting on the pressure. You mentioned he's just chipping it down Avoider, and that's working so successfully here.
Yes, you're correct there. He is playing being very patient. It was a nice rock then he had and shot for a takedown. It's looking really good for Ernesto. Stands up. He wants to fight, he does. He wants to try and go for that knockout, I think.
I mean, look, Marvin Vettori just absolutely blasting his opponent, basically for the full 15 minutes. There's 45 seconds left on the clock, Doc. Assassin in a dire position. This final ground and pound is able to close the show.
Oh, nice.
And I mean, look, Ernesto, after such a big performance, he's going to be feeling very, very happy that not only was he able to fully showcase those skills, but he now also gets, of course, the bonus in terms of his points in Primetime MMA, getting him a little bit further up those rankings, Doc.
A little further up those rankings is always guaranteed. He didn't get to the decision. He got a KO, and that's always good to see. That's your end goal with it in this. Getting the third round wasn't too bad. Again, we mentioned it. He chipped down his opponent. He worked him down slowly, subtly, and steadily, and that worked so well in that fight. Avoider.
Yeah, sorry, I missed that, man. Yes, he was very patient. I quite enjoy the LW camp. Probably going to get hate for that, but they've got some interesting characters in there. Same with the AGS boys. I got nothing but respect for both of them.
Yeah, two really good camps. I mean, quite honestly, there isn't really a camp these days as a whole that hasn't got some fantastic talent behind them, Doc. I mean, obviously, I know that you used to be involved with a couple of camps over the time, and you got to see firsthand that a lot of these camps, kind of bring in people, help develop skills, iron sharpen iron, so to speak, and it really is allowing people to elevate their games to the next level, and we're seeing big performances out of people as a result.
Yeah, across the board, these camps are the mainstay. You have KM, you have TFA, and that's just to mention on the Xbox side. It's so nice to see as people develop, especially when you think about people that you wouldn't expect. Like, you had Haroon, he started out fairly low level, built himself up. Aaron, to mention another one, he joined up with the FSK boys and started to build up his reputation there. Kezza's the same way. Gamp, Skilch is now part of KM, and that's only on the Xbox side. I'm not particularly well versed in the PlayStation, but you get the idea that some of these camps can really build up your game, really develop you as an entire style.
Exactly right, brother. Exactly right. Well, with all of that being said, a fight that actually, Avoider, you picked out at the beginning of the card, and I think rightfully so, brother. We're going to be having Broomstick up against Sam Nye. Broomstick is a man that's been around the scene for a very long time, somebody I'm very familiar with myself, been making adjustments after adjustments and continues to elevate his game. As I was mentioning a moment ago, he's definitely one of those guys that has been able to do so over his UFC 4 career. Up against a guy here this evening on the PlayStation side, which is interesting to note, as Broomstick's now fighting across their Avoider. It'll be interesting to see what waves he's able to make as he comes up against a CAF player from the PlayStation scene that is also new to Primetime MMA.
Oh, this is very interesting then, if he's making his PlayStation debut.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I like what I'm seeing here as well, just to throw it back. I mean, like I said, a CAF pick, boxer, powerhouse out to the side of his opponent. And obviously, we're seeing a bit of a Dominic Reyes pick out of somebody like Broomstick, who traditionally, at least on the Xbox side of things here, Doc, was somebody that we often seen utilizing his striking more often than not. He, he came from the camp of BSD. He was with them for quite some time, and under that kind of banner, his bodywork, his overall striking, really kind of hit that next level.
Yeah, the body snatchers degree camp is definitely a camp where you end up knowing how to body snatch. You just dig down to that body, you work it, and that's the idea. You have to destroy the base from below to then get to the head, and that's how I'm expecting Broomstick to do. You have the rear kick of Dominic Reyes, both of them in that sort of stance. You can just lash out with it, and we're straight off to the races here, Avoider.
Yeah, so it was a bit interesting. Showing a bit of respect and then giving him the beard, which was quite interesting.
Maybe a little bit of mental warfare to start them out. I mean, as we're seeing on the... My God, Broomstick!
God.
He answered, he said, I'll eat everything you have and I will keep on marching through that storm. Avoider continues to land bomb after bomb, but has to be careful not to walk onto some of the big shots and nigh. Yes,
you're correct there. This is wild at the minute. You got both guys training. Oh, nice knockdown.
Broomstick, he said he's not here for a long time. He's here for a good time, Doc. And he is quite clearly trying to get this fight over in that first round.
He is having some fun. He's putting on all the pressure here. His opponent's a bit doesn't know how to really respond. We have jab straights. Broomstick's reading it, slipping off to the side, getting it across. We've seen him throw a head kick. Tries to pull back on the straight, does get met with it. 3 minutes left on the clock. It seems like Broomstick may run away with this if his opponent figures out a different opportunity. Maybe stick a couple hooks. Oh, that's what you want to see.
Yeah, he answers back with a big counter out here, Avoider, and that's what he's got to be careful of. That head health is terrible on both ends, brother. Oh my God, this might be it.
Oh, in full mount now. Can we see him pound him out? I think so. That's over, yeah. Oh.
These light heavyweights, they do not. Oh, my God. The power, brother. I just every single time, especially when somebody gets injured in these heavier weights, the fight is over at the blink of an eye. As you see, Broomstick pouring on the pressure early. Got clipped with a couple of good counters from his opponent, but Nye just wasn't able to quite answer what Broomstick brought to the table here this evening there, Dog.
Yeah, Broomstick just had the more success. He got that pressure on quick and he put it on. Evidently his opponent did something that Broomstick took personally there.
well, I mean, to be fair, Broomstick is always a game fighter, right? A guy that brings the action, but he did kind of fight like his opponent said something about his mother or something. He came with that extra bit of violence here this evening. Or maybe he just woke up and chose violence. I'm not too sure over here, Avoider, but with all of that being said, brother, we move on to another very interesting fight. This time also on the PlayStation side, we're going to be having Def Jam up against AOW Bullcut Bully. We saw Bullcut Bully out previously as well, and this guy, I mean, he has some heat in those hands, my man. I can't wait to see what he's able to do up against Def Jam, who's also a very, very talented fighter, a man that's played the game quite extensively, able to kind of cap out that 99 third prestige sort of playing level. I think these guys are going to be well experienced and really bring the action, as the PlayStation boys really always do.
I'm really interested in this fight because last week when we seen Bowl Cut Billy, he used his calf and he had a bowl cut. I'm really digging that bowl cut.
Yeah, I mean, it was a bit swaggy, bro. I'm not going to lie. Maybe the best calf appearance that we've had to date. But he's currently hot. Yeah, no, he's going. He's going Rock Lee, bro. He's going Rock Lee. If this guy can make some waves with his calf, I would be more than impressed.
I mean, to bring it back to how he'd won his last fight was a spinning heel kick, which I think folded a Dominic Cruz in half. So if he can pull something off similar to that against a Rob Font, he's definitely going to make a name for himself here as we see Rock Lee enter the cage.
Yes, sir. 40 seconds, just as a reminder, to get your votes in on this bout. Is it going to be Def Jam or Bullcut Bully? Make sure to get your voting line in. Give us an indication of who you think at home is going to be winning this bout, and maybe win yourself some of those channel coins that are a little bit hard to come by these days. Well, a bit of respect on both ends here, Avoider. You love to see it, but we're going to have to see if the Bull Cut's going to come out with some of that madness like we saw in his last performance.
Oh, yes. I hope we see some violence from Bull Cut.
I think just to put it out there as well, I mean, look, obviously Rob Font, he can kick, right? But his kind of main skill is going to be in those hands. And we saw Bullcut kick a lot in his last performance. This fight may just come down to whether or not Rob Font is able to, stop a lot of those kicks and block the body and the head, correctly, which is a little bit difficult when somebody's mixing it up as much as somebody like Bullcut does here, dog.
Bolcut's already moving around using that footwork as well. Font misses that kick. He caught a couple early on, so I'm expecting we're going to see a lot of catching kicks, trying to get the counter off. It does move around, gets kicked there, does catch another teep. A head kick follows suit, and a body kick as well. A teep follows. This looks like it's going to be a mixture of the kickboxing battle indeed here at Avoid.
I was going to say, yeah, we're going to see a kickboxing match here. All I've seen so far is just kicks, and kicks. This is great.
Yeah, there's a lot of feints being thrown into the mix as well on both sides. Really, really, kind of powerful shots. Every single time you see Bolcut land a strike, you can hear the connection. And the same from Rob Font as he opens up with a nice little flurry here. Back and forth action. We, of course, cannot see their stamina, but the pace would indicate, Doc, that they're probably about a quarter of the way through, I would imagine, at this stage. Or a third off that top, I would say, or a quarter maybe, just due to the amount of strikes. They're just not wasting any time. The combinations, it's always 4 pieces, just like that, brother. Sits down Bolcut Bully, trying to get the finish right here, right now. And he does. Def Jam gets his hands raised.
Oh, wow.
Woo.
What a good fight by Def Jam then. Good combination then.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Unlucky to Bolcut Bully then. But I was going to mention, it was interesting seeing Bolcut switching stances all the time.
Yeah, exactly right. And I think, I'm somebody that really does appreciate the switching of stances quite heavily. I think it gives your opponent a lot of looks out here, Avoider. Means that you're able to change the distance of your opponent and yourself just a little bit. Those switching of stances, this is a game of millimeters a lot of the time. So the more kind of finite you can be, those little kind of millimeters that you can eke out are always going to continue to benefit you tenfold, right, in such closely contested battles, like who can dictate the range and where that fight takes place. Often turns out to be, who's going to ultimately walk away with their hand raised.
Yes, that's correct. And also changing stance, it confuses your opponent a little bit because you just changing. You're like, oh, what's he going to do now? He's in southpaw. Oh, God, he's back in orthodox. What's he going to do?
Yeah, that's right. And it changes the weapons that your opponent have at their disposal. It opens up certain shots if you're standing in southpaw and your opponent is also standing in southpaw, then, it opens up that blast to the body. So if you can kind of mirror stances of your opponent, you can really, really kind of get a lot of damage off. So with all that being said, though, brother, we move on to an Xbox bout up next. We're going to be having somebody that we know very, very well within the Xbox esporting community in FSK, Jamie Bucks, a man that fears no man and quite clearly has the skills all round to kind of strike fear into his opponent's heart. But he is up against the Golden Kid, and he's the Golden Kid for a reason. We expect big things from him. He's got the name to back it. Only a level 3 account, TFA's very own. Obviously looking to make a statement up against one of the bigger names within the community.
Oh, yes. Well, you got Jamie Bucks. He's looking to get back in that win column after that loss against Lepo last week. Not too sure about Golden Kid, but I know a little bit about Jamie Bucks. He's in the FSK great camp, one of the biggest camps at the minute in the ESFL. Sorry, no, UFC. Very sorry about that. I got my words mixed up.
Well, they're a camp that's around the scene as a whole. I think you'll see them across, ESFL, PrimeTime. I imagine like IXE and a bunch of the other leagues. I know that the last, a lot of these competitors that we see fighting here this evening fight in a lot of camps out here, Doc. I think in the last fight, Bolcut Bully had his HUD off, and that would normally be indicative of like a league like Showtime MMA, for example. So yeah, a lot of these guys are well versed, although they may be some of them newer to Primetime MMA. It doesn't mean that they're not experienced within the wider community and have their own tools and skills to bring to the table.
Yeah, that's the fun part about being in a community like this. You have a lot of leagues, a lot of different places, and so you can show up differently. However, the same with Trixie. Trixie normally has a bit of difficulty outside of Primetime, but when it gets to Primetime, he shows up and he shows up. Apart from the last 2 fights, these two, however, already done very fast-paced here, playing very aggressive and looking to get a finish already.
Yes.
No, I completely agree. Look, Jamie Bucks only knows one way, and that is to absolutely maul his opponents in one way or another, whether that be with the striking or in the grappling. You've got to remember, Jamie Bucks traditionally a grappler, but as you pointed out, I think it was last time that we were sharing the commentary booth out here, Doc, that he's made major advancements in his striking, and he's dangerous absolutely everywhere.
Well, if I remember correctly, the last time he fought maybe was against Hayes. That's probably wrong, to be fair, but either way, they're both going at it. The leg kick's coming out a lovely bit of heaven there. He's part of the FSK, so having his striking develop, be more diverse, is kind of to be expected. We all know how they fight off the back foot, and Jamie's gone the opposite way, playing on front of the front foot and maintaining his opponent against his cage here.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's good. As we said, each camp has kind of their namesake, so to speak, where they have a style that really, really kind of separates themselves. But within that, you're of course going to have countering styles like somebody like Jamie Bucks, who's deciding to turn on the pressure quite clearly. He's more of the aggressive style out here, Doc. And, you know, when you see how good some of the campmates that they have are at defending, you've got to imagine they have some really good offensive fighters just like this, who are pushing them to their limits in order to be able to allow them to get that done. But I am saying all of this, and I don't want to ignore the work that TFA Golden Boy is doing, because Golden Boy is doing a very good job of getting off that center line and keeping this fight in a very, very even and honest kind of fashion so far.
Well, the main thing that seems to be going in the favour of Golden Boy is just his ability to keep his stamina high. He's taking some shots, but Jamie's having a bit of difficulty keeping that cardio up to the same level of Voider, and so I feel like if it continues going, Jamie may have the issue of cardio, not the damage.
Yes, I agree there. The cardio is going to play a huge factor here. As I noticed, Jamie Bucks was throwing some kicks well out of range. Oh, nice leg.
That one, though, brother, landed right on the mark, right? That left leg got absolutely brutalized, but so did the head health of Jamie Bucks. TFA Golden Boy trying to turn it up, and he gets the knockdown here. He may get the finish avoider. He is trying with all of his will to pour it on in these last 20 seconds.
Oh, yes, he is. He's trying to get that finish. He smells blood. Well, he did smell blood. He's backing up now. Maybe try to catch a breather, recompose.
Woo! Not letting that happen. I mean, look, these guys, they're razor close, bro. One rightly timed pull counter can change this fight's entire momentum. As you saw right there, very, very closely contested. TFA Gold, after a lot of strikes coming his way, after being defensive so much in that first round, was able to get some of the bigger counters off. And when he did, he exploded, Doc. And I think that's what was able to win him that round.
His team to exploded fantastically, making sure that block couldn't recover, finding the shots. Tries to pull back, but Gold just carries back, and now Jamie's walking backwards, ducks under, gets an uppercut in slow motion. He gets dropped to Torn, and now goes to the finish here in top mount.
That arm is trapped. Throw strikes from the right side. He can't block, bro. Like, why would you not use your right arm there? He can't block.
Jesus.
I always feel bad for the guy underneath in that situation, avoid it. But when you're on top, you've got to take advantage, right? Their arm is trapped in between your arms. Just rain down some damage, brother.
Definitely. If that arm is trapped, throw that right hook, get him out of there, because he can't block.
Exactly right, but now he's still in a very good spot. Obviously, the full guard going to want to try and advance this position if he can, but TFA Gold does seem to be pretty educated on the ground here, Doc, taking his time and working his way back up to the feet along that cage line.
Well, educated on the ground against a person like Jamie Bucks is definitely the way you want it to be. We've seen the back seeing possibility going top mount. Instead, we see back sitting, and you can land some heavy ground and pound even if you don't get it. Goes into the full guard, the reversal up, postures up, looking to do a bit damage avoider, but so far it seems like both of them are kind of even on the ground. Yes,
they are. It seems like the pace has slowed down a lot. When Jamie Bucks was posturing up, he wasn't doing anything. Maybe he was trying to catch a breath, get his stamina back up, and hopefully then tire him out a little bit, get that head health low, and then he could posture up and finish that, go for the finish.
I have to say that I think that Jamie Bucks has recognized something that I believe that I did a moment ago, which is that his opponent, TFA Gold, was looking pretty good in terms of denials, but he was using the hand that was on his opponent's head to throw the strike stock, and you know that that's a big indication that your opponent's maybe not as experienced as it first seems on the mat, and I think that's given Jamie Bucks all the confidence he needs. Look how dominant he's now being. That confidence is there. He feels like he can throw really anything, and because of that little minor thing, you know, that's a big indication to what your opponent's skill level is, right? Using that hand on the head, because otherwise it stops them posturing up.
interestingly gets back up onto the feet. Don't put on this pressure, does start to engage. Volkanovski puts a bit more pressure back. He does not like being against the back of the cage, firing any shot on, firing on all cylinders he can, trying to get that head health down. Both of them are just going at it here.
I'm really impressed with Golden Kid. He has impressed me tonight. The TFA boys, you've got Pug, who was a very good player.
Yes, sir. But oh my God, FSK Jamie Bucks. He kind of chose violence at the very end there in a big way. Wanted to get another knockdown to add to the statistics of that round. And as you see, he gets 2 knockdowns in total. So after a difficult first round, a very closely contested one there, Doc, that was a much better round for Jamie Bucks in the second one. No touch of gloves on the takedown, but gets reversed. That's going to anger Jamie.
Angry someone can get after the fake touch of gloves, and by the looks of it, Jamie is happy to oblige to that anger, putting on this pressure. He doesn't want Gold making it out of this round now. With the head movement, he's trying, doubles up on the elbows, doesn't get any success. Jamie tries to follow forward, double up. There's a lot of doubling up in terms of Volkanovski, and I feel like if Jamie gets one good read on that, it's going to get countered somehow here, Voida.
Yes, I agree. He is doubling up a lot. It only takes one shot for these FSK lads, you know. They are great at... Oh, a drop here. And a taunt. What a knockout.
My
Jesus.
God. I don't even understand, brother. I don't even understand what I just saw. This was a crazy fight. Jamie Bucks able to do enough, though. He had a lot of adversity, I feel like, in that first round. A close one, but definitely was eating quite a lot of shots for him to turn it up in that second round, Doc, and start to kind of run away with it. I do think, I genuinely believe it was that little bit on the ground that Jamie Bucks kind of took away as a big confidence builder and thought, I'm levels above.
Yeah, it's just small little divots in how someone plays. In terms of that one, it was definitely just using the hand which was holding the person's head as the pitting hand build at G8 instead of the other hand to give him the free posture up. And as soon as someone notices, as soon as someone's confident they've got a tiny edge over you, it's that entire game. It's about confidence, and that's what Jamie had there.
Exactly right, brother. Another fun fight on the cards, one that we haven't quite mentioned so far here this evening, but one that's definitely on my radar. I expect big things as a whole from this man right here. We got I Am Reaper is going to be taking on the ever-dangerous Luke Seville. I know that TMM Reaper is a man that obviously is well-loved within the community, helps quite a bit behind the scene, making some of those write-ups, as you mentioned at the beginning of the broadcast out here, Doc, but the guy also has an incredible striking style. He really likes to put it all together, has the grappling to back it up, but often likes to go down that Conor McGregor route and showcase one of his favorite fighters being a strong Irishman himself. But once again, he does have his work cut out for him. Just to throw it to you very briefly here, Avoider, he's going to be up against, like I said, Luke Seville, who is a dangerous man on the feet himself, has a lot of experience, and he's going to be going Max Holloway in the featherweight weight class. So we're seeing a Max Holloway up against the Conor McGregor matchup here. Down in featherweight as well, which is a bit different than obviously if you were to see it up in lightweight. A lot of damage on McGregor's side, and of course that cardio for Holloway is absolutely next level.
Oh yeah, 100%. Max Holloway's cardio is ridiculous, especially in this featherweight. And Conor McGregor, you can't take away his power. He is strong in featherweight. He's stronger in lightweight, but he is still strong in featherweight, you know. And I'm interested to see this fight because I know TM Reaper. He's a great guy. He's been in the community. Luke Seville was in TMF for a short period. So it's really interesting to see this matchup.
Yeah, they're extremely balanced and all round dangerous kind of players. These two guys, I know that they both bring a lot of tools to the table, Doc. I think that there's going to be a lot of respect between these two guys, but I think they're going to start fast. I mean, I know that they both have maybe not too much respect. Maybe not too much respect. They both want that title, and they're going to fight their way to it. Obviously, need a big statement to get themselves really recognized at this stage.
I mean, saying any type of respect there is kind of something Reaper's saying, come at me, I'm going to put the pressure on. Max Holloway's already doing it, but Max Holloway's stunned. Reaper's content with putting on this pressure now. He evidently feels something with McGregor, and he's happy to stand in the face of a Holloway and start digging to that body as well as the head here, Avoider.
What I've noticed from these two lads, they've took a little something out of Night Legacy's book with the taunting at the start.
Wouldn't be too surprised by that. Sometimes it gets in your opponent's head, but sometimes you'll get front kicked in the face and you'll get knocked out, so gotta be careful of that, especially with some of those longer animations. But loving the entertainment so far over the opening minute and a half of this bout, Doctor. They're both going very, very well in terms of mix-ups. You know, really showing a lot of angles. It'll be interesting to see who's able to get the damage off just like that. You know, those moments are huge in such a close fight.
Oh, that head kick nearly got through that block. The damage within the first minute or so is where it all lands. Evidently, Holloway's putting on a fight to come back. But again, mix-ups. Reaper here is mixing up to at least some degree and making sure the power of McGregor is there to stay and put this deadliness on.
Well, I have to say, I mean, obviously, Reaper at the beginning of the season, Avoider, he's had some issues in terms of putting on the performances that he wanted to. He doesn't want to go and get a loss here. He has to answer back. He's 0-2 currently in the season, but a dangerous and, you know, skillful player that we know very, very well. So he's having an opportunity to take on a debuter in Luke Seville, who, as we see right there, quite clearly is a dangerous man. He has some killer combinations that he's throwing out there.
Oh yes, definitely. Luke Seville has got some hands. He is a great fighter. And Reaper, I'm really quite surprised he's 0-2 right now. Because he is a very good, a good player.
He is, brother. He is, yeah.
So, what would you guys do if you were Luke Seville right now?
He's having the success, I would say, here. He's just peppering his opponent. He's making sure to stand on the outside, let Reaper come to him, and just polka dot him with the way. Because you don't want to be pressuring McGregor. You want McGregor to be coming to you, and Reaper kind of needs to stop following and more leading the fight. You see it there a bit. He needs to get that jab established, start finding his little openings, find the holes, and then start putting that pressure on. Otherwise, he's going to have the issue of his head health isn't going to be there coming into the second round.
Yeah, I think the Reaper's trying to play the stamina game, which is potentially going to go his way, because it's all about the recovery for me. As you see him, he's taunting his opponent, trying to get him to come onto him, throw a bunch of strikes, trying to use his head movement and then answer back. But he was pressed up against the cage a little bit too closely there, which is what kind of made him eat a couple of shots, Avoider. Oh my God.
Oh.
I'm surprised that clip didn't get a rock.
That was very interesting then. Maybe a little glitch.
Well, I expected action in this bout, and that's exactly what we're getting. Luke Seville answering in a big way in his debut. Stamina getting a little bit worse for wear. Interesting to note, of course, he's the Max Holloway player, so you would imagine his stamina in between rounds is going to recover to a point where that will basically equal out, but maybe not. I mean, Reaper, his game plan may have been just to turn it up in the second round, Avoider, and pour it on his opponent here. You got to remember, he did get a stun at the beginning of the first as well.
Yes, definitely. I think you are right there. He was being patient in the first round, and then he's going to just have this adrenaline dump and just body rock there. He's going to put it on him right now.
Reaper had a bit more success at the beginning. A front kick nearly lands, though, and both of them are going at it already. No need to stop. We're barely a minute into the second. Holloway goes for a takedown. Reaper gets the defense. A front kick follows suit. A body kick attempt. Their head health there, just everything. That boxing combo finally gets its way through the block, and this is a scary place for both of them.
Yeah, I mean, he's got him in a whirlwind there. The absolutely beautiful head movement into the pivot keeps Reaper in it. He needs to continue to be defensively sound for another couple of minutes in order to get his opponent in a position that would be pretty dire stamina-wise, but he's looking good stamina, but not so good health-wise, right? And that's kind of the trade-off we're seeing Avoider at this stage. My big concern are these taunts, my man, because they're doing it in some dangerous spots.
Yeah, definitely. I think he needs to calm down on these taunts now. Oh, you got Max Holloway in
In full guard, brother, you're all good, Max Holloway.
Yeah, sorry.
He's trying to turn the tide from the actual fight that they had. Of course, Conor McGregor took down Max Holloway in their actual fight, and Max obviously has made some adjustments since then, especially in the hands of Luke Seville, and he believes that for the next 2 minutes, he can slow down McGregor, maybe take away this round and equalize out some of that stamina here, Doc.
Yeah, it really is the idea. He was gassing out, and so he grappled Though the grappling's a bit harder when you got the lower gas tank, it's also less intensive on it because striking one shot with a low stam part's going to increase your vulnerability. McGregor's probably going to be looking to get up to the feet. He does get his back taken here. Backside can be a deadly position, especially if you don't up quickly, but Reaper does manage. We have got the risk of the takedown, does defend a knee, and we've already got the boxing aggression of Holloway back on board here.
I mean, look, Reaper was doing really well, but Luke Seville, even though his stamina is basically shot to shit at this stage, gets the knockout! Oh my god! He dangled that foot out there, said, look at this miss, get clipped with this quick! Oh my god, Max Holloway, Luke Seville, that's a way to make a debut. Avoid a good debut, brother. Debut.
That was
debut.
A brilliant debut by Luke Seville. Jesus. He just pulled that out in the second round. That spin to the chin.
I am absolutely speechless at this stage. My heart goes out to TMM Reaper, a great guy, a fantastic competitor that looked dangerous once again. He does in every single one of his fights, but I mean, Luke Seville, this guy quite clearly a killer, and I think that he may be making some waves under the Primetime banner if he continues to put together performances like that. I mean, obviously maybe some lessons to be learnt, Doc. Has to be careful a little bit of that stamina, but ultimately the damage was enough to get the job done, so to speak.
Yeah, both of them did a fantastic job there. Across that, just how well that Max Holloway came out, how he existed, how he worked, just brilliant. Reaper tried with the McGregor, you could see it, you could see the cogs slowly turning by the end of it, within that second round. Just as he got finished, you could see it was starting to turn, but Holloway finished the fight quickly, effectively, and he got it done.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, I believe that up next we have another debuter. We're going to be having the PlayStation side of things. The debuter is a very, very nice guy. I've seen him in the community quite recently. He gave me a little bit of a statement leading up to the fight. He said that he is an all-rounded fighter. He loves to box and believes that that's his strongest points. Been working on some other elements of the game that I'm not going to mention at this point. Don't want to give away all of his points, but that is not Anthony up against another debuter who is Moolah. I think that these guys are going to be having a fun action-packed bout over in the featherweight weight class here, Avoider, and the featherweight weight class does have a lot of options available to them.
Yes, well, you've got now Giga in the game now. You've got Keita, who's had an update now, who's 4.5 stars. The featherweight division is really interesting. I love fighting in the featherweight division. I like seeing people mix it up, not using like your Conor McGregor's, Max Holloway. I like to see people fight, use fighters who you don't really see that often. But I'm quite interested to see this not Anthony fight, because I've seen him a lot in the Primetime chat talking. He seems like a very nice guy.
Yeah.
I want to see what he brings to the table now.
As much as we've just hyped that up, brother, I think that, you know, like I said, I am hoping that that fight is actually going to get done, but I've just received word from the back that unfortunately one of the competitors is having some connection issues and they are needing a moment. So that he's going to quickly restart his shit and hopefully he will be back within the next 5 minutes. But for the moment, we're going to currently skip across to what was previously scheduled as our featured fight of the prelims between two very, very high-level competitors from well-respected camp stock. Going to throw this one to you, my man, as I know that you know these two guys, I believe, fairly decently. It's going to be between KM's very own, M-Town's finest, a man that was making waves in that Grand Prix to start out the season, has shown absolute massive developments in his all-round game, but he is taking on Vex's very own Leave the Great. I mean, that this guy has had some great performances so far. I think that this is a fantastic, fantastic bout.
Well, just correct a few things. Vex, Alexa, however you pronounce it, I believe how you pronounce it is Leaks, which is an interesting spelling of it. But to move on to the fighters themselves, M-Town is this very defensive striker, has a beautiful shoulder roll. You can never quite kick his legs out where you want to go for it. Has built up a wrestling game around it from what I've heard. Leaks, on the other hand, I personally would describe him as a fighter like Bang Bang. He's looking to come forward, put this pressure on, make you suffocate to then do it. So you basically got a fight between a defensive fighter and a pressure fighter, which means I'm expecting a lot of striking, a lot of technique, and a lot of all-round just looking to punch each other's heads off.
Yes, 100%.
Well, these guys look like they've had a couple of fights in the past, and of course we say it every single time. You know, we can't put too much stake into previous records because, of course, we don't know if these guys are showing each other some shit. A lot of the guys within the community do tend to train with each other, but it is a little bit of an indication at times on which way the fight goes. And if these records are anything to go by, there, Avoider, it seems to be very closely contested, 3 and 4, with a slight advantage to M Town's finest.
Yes, 100%. These records on here don't mean nothing until they're in there live fighting in front of all these people. It's a different story, you know. Like we could compare our records, Looney. We're probably 10 and 10. They mean nothing until we get in there. There's a whole different ball game. Then you know that.
Yeah, exactly right, brother. Exactly right. It's about who can show up in the moment, rise to the occasion, and that's exactly what we're about to find out here this evening. It is, I believe, our first mirror match of the evening. It is going to be Peter Yan v. Peter Yan on the right-hand side of the bracket. Obviously, we have in the blue corner, just waiting for his name to switch across from M-Town's finest, and on the right, we're having Leaks the Great, Vex's very own. Starting out in a pretty kind of quick fashion here, Doc, poking at each other with that jab, using some head movement, trying to bait in some action from their opponent.
Well, both of them high-level competitors. Both of them know how effective a jab can be. You already see the little bit of head movement of M-Town's coming out. Dinks down to that body slightly. Does get out the pocket. Leaks does, and trying to come back in. I feel like this fight's going to be an in-out fight. Just trying to get a read. Just looking for that one big counter to finish off the fight.
Yeah, we're going to see a lot of feints, a lot of head movements in this fight.
Using the jab, once again, both guys seem to have a very educated jab, allowing them to find a lot of the range in the bout, but then answering with a couple of big shots behind that as well, which is obviously very, very much needed to keep your opponent honest and to give them things to worry about over the course of the, seconds and minutes that you have ahead of you. I have to say that the combinations seem to be coming in absolute flurries at the moment, talking with Peter Yan out in this bantamweight division. I don't expect that to slow down anytime soon. He's got cardio for days, and his striking is something to be feared down in this bantamweight division.
He's striking, his cardio, his all-round game. Yan is a striker to be feared. The issue is he may throw an illegal knee, but apart from that, he throws a front kick in the pocket to him, so it's 30 left on the clock. Neither opponent's really letting down apart from those jab straights constantly in their faces of each other. The block being worked down slowly, steadily. They're not trying anything. They're not committing to any big shots. They're just keeping it simple, keeping it down to the basics. Because of, as I mentioned earlier, any big counter can massively wade the tide of battle for either one of them here, Avoider.
Yes, 100%. I keep saying that, sorry. So, yeah. So it's quite interesting to see because you've got like M-Town here. He's just playing the jab game, the range. He's just trying to fight, keep him at range. Oh, and he shoots for the takedown there. And then you've got Leax the Great. He's just coming in with these combos, which are quite interesting.
Yeah, I mean, the flurries he puts out there, Avoider, just to chug it back to you, brother, they're very dangerous, just like that, the straight into the lead overhand. And I know that that's the case with a lot of these Vex guys, is that they do have combinations that are, designed to end the fight very, very quickly.
Yeah, so I find with the Vex team, they love an overhand. They do.
Yes, I think
I know that from experience.
Yeah, I mean, they can catch you with them. Like I said, they have tricky ways of setting them up as well. M-Town's finest being forced to play off that back foot, eating a couple of body shots for his trouble. Only 15 seconds left in this round, but do not blink. Most of the time, that's where some of the biggest rocks come, but they do tend to, these guys, being experienced there, Doc, deciding to take a couple of seconds and allow their recovery to come into full effect going ahead into the second round, because they know that they need to be, really, really on point quite clearly with the damage that both guys are trying to put on the table.
Both guys are, as you mentioned, trying to put that damage on the table, piecing each other up in multiple ways to combos. You've seen the overhand attempt of Lexi. He's looking to knock his opponent clean out. Mentioning the Vex camp, you also have, bringing it on to the main event of this evening, you have Vex, so maybe expect a couple overhands. Both of these are starting with body jab, looking to build up top. And lovely teep that also lands a front kick, follows in retaliation. Both of them are already going at it here, Avoider.
Look at the head health on M-Town right now. We can't see Peter Yan. Not Peter Yan. We can't see Leax the Great's head right now, but M-Town's finest was flashing for a minute. These flurries by Leax are great.
Yeah, I completely agree with you that he just, he has a knack for putting out large amounts of damage in very short amounts of time. And like I said, I think that that's one of the hallmarks of the Vex camp. They are incredibly dangerous. But look at that head movement. The KM boys, they really do have some defensively sound fighters, I think, all the way stemming from the top with, people like Valentine and Cold-Blooded, some of the better defensive fighters that you'll see around. Of course, just the previous champion as well, Doc. He's obviously got a deep staple of fighters to train with on both sides, and I think that that's coming into fruition. I mean, iron sharpens iron, brother.
Iron indeed sharpens iron. Here you see both of them just trying to sharpen each other's skills, even in the midst of battle here. Both of them just looking for one slip counter or jam straight there. Head movement again coming out. Just a back and forth fight, Avoider, with nobody really wanting to give any ground apart from only slightly in the cage.
Yes, I agree there. It's really interesting now, like how the pace has slowed down a little bit. But we got Liax still throwing these wild flurries, which look really good. And you've got M-Town's finest. He's just picking him apart at this. Well, not picking him apart, but he's keeping him at bay with this jab. Great head movement by M-Town's finest right now.
Yeah, no, exactly right. I think that you were seeing, somebody like M-Town's finest trying to be a little bit more. It's hard to say technical, but maybe a little bit more selective about the shots that he's going for, and Leaks the Great is quite clearly happy to let those hands fly when he feels that his opponent's within that danger zone, Doc, and that maybe is kind of the biggest difference here and why it's such an entertaining bout, why we're seeing such a back and forth battle with a lot of shots being landed and missed.
A lot of shots being landed and missed is the way it goes when you've got two high-level opponents. The lead hook, the jabs, any one of these shots is the key component here, and both of them knowing where to land it, where to stick it, and so wary of their defense to make sure it stays tight so they don't get hit. That switch kick being ill-timed, getting the counter off, but no real stun off it there, Avoider.
Yes, no, we haven't seen any rocks right now. It's just been, you could say, tactical.
Yeah, but just to kind of add on to your point though, right, I think that you're right, we're not seeing rocks, but it's the cumulative damage that's really adding up. Although there's been no rocks, their actual total head health is basically starting to deteriorate at an increasing rate. You see them, kind of pretty low. I mean, we can see it on Peter Yan on the right-hand side, the blue corner, right? His head health not exactly looking completely flush, only a couple of shots really needed to get it within that blink zone.
Yeah, not many shots indeed. You also notice the cardio. It's still high and we've seen the pace they've been throwing. They've been throwing at a wild pace, very aggressive, constantly in each other's faces. But it's also the parts where they just don't throw there and they're just walking forward. They look like they're throwing much, but they're not actually throwing. They're just put on the pressure. Leaks getting a lovely turning takedown there, switching them over inside saddle, looking to get the pressure on from side control. Now we move into it. And half guard we are.
A lot of activity on the mat. They're scrambling for positions. Of course, Leaks the Great feels very comfortable on the mat. An excellent hip toss to get it down here. But as you can see, M-Town's finest is well versed on the mat himself, going for a couple of feints, able to get the separation nice and quickly here, Avoider. And I know he has to be wary of that head health, but I do think that it's probably looking about equal on the side of Leaks the Great, because combinations have been landing on both sides of the table.
Yeah, it's very even match fight so far. I was quite interested to see Liax taking him to the ground. I thought it would have been on the feet the whole fight, But
oh my God, on the feet is where it got finished. He said that was super necessary, brother. That was super necessary. He may have been out, but he was moving. He was giving him the funny eye whilst he was flapping around on the ground, and Leaks the Great wanted to vanquish that guy to hell, and that's exactly what he did post knockout. My God, that was some violence on display. An excellent bout between two very, very highly talented players out here, dog.
Yeah, both of them high talented. You saw it up until that last punch that got the knockout, and evidently Leaks needed to make sure M-Town was out to get the finish, jumping on him at the end. Both of them were just so crisp, so clean, the technique. Both opponents so evident there, Avoider.
Sorry about that. Yes, that was very... I've been saying Liax's name wrong. it was his leaks. I'm very sorry about that, but that was a great performance. He just turned it on right at the last minute.
Just to, I mean, talking to the guys in the back, we're just having a little check to see whether or not the fight that was previously scheduled to be before that is ready to go, of course, because as we move into the main card, yeah, I believe it is. I'm getting the thumbs up from the back. So yeah, we're about to see Not Anthony make his debut up against another man making his debut on the PlayStation side of things, who is Moolah. As I said, I had some words from Anthony in the back saying that he's a very well-rounded player, but really does like to utilize his striking. Believe that these guys are ready. They're just cutting a couple of pounds, I do believe, out here, Doc. I think that Anthony just trying to get his way to the cage right now. Do apologize there, ladies and gentlemen. We're about ready to go, I do believe. Just waiting for this gentleman to actually get his stream up. I think the connection issues knocked it off, but he is going live as we speak. And just loading that up. Apologies on these delays, but these things happen, of course, on a live esporting event. They are ready, and yes, okay, looks like they're actually loading into the fight, I do believe. I could be wrong. We're going to skip across and find out.
I did see in the chat then, it was an early finish, someone said then. Early stoppage.
Early stoppage. I mean, I know that these people love violence. You're a beautiful bunch of savages, as I like to say, but my God, that he was dead. If you guys wanted to see dead bodies, you got to here this evening. Ortega on the left-hand side in the red corner, and a calf player on the right-hand side in the blue corner. Not Anthony, a calf player. It'll be an interesting mix-up. See what he's able to get done here, Doc. He's a lot taller than somebody like Brian Ortega, but Brian Ortega is very dangerous, incredibly crisp striking, and the submission's obviously not to be messed with.
I mean, the submissions, you're talking about a boxing here, both of them going ballistic in that pocket, putting on the pressure, just hoping to any type of finish right now. We're barely a minute into this fight. Jab, straight hooks all around. Finally gets to clinch. Goes for a flying triangle, though. Does get it denied. Into stack, gets out of it, and evidently Ortega's looking to get some type of flying submission off tonight.
And Anthony goes in for the gets reversed.
I mean, like, nice scrambles here, though, right about they're doing very, very well, kind of going back and forth on this.
Yes, they are. The scrambles then were really good. It's quite interesting to see calf players, because I started off in the calf community, and then when I joined PrimeTime, I was like, yeah, I'm done with calves now. It's all about regs. I find regs are a lot better, but it's all to do with the person behind the controller, though, like you said earlier.
Oh, yes, I completely agree with that sentiment entirely. As we're seeing right here, he goes for another triangle attempt, but it looks like Not Anthony is aware of the danger that comes via Moolah. The chat have been saying throughout the entire bout that Moolah has some incredibly dangerous submissions, and that's what he's looking to lean on here this evening. But Not Anthony, man, he's peppering those hands out here, Doc. Just a lot of 1-2s, throwing a couple of hooks behind it, making sure his opponent doesn't feel comfortable no matter where that head lies.
Where the head lies is where it's going to lie. The hooks, the straights are just what you want to make sure that your opponent's always a bit scared. That was a lovely kick there. It does get clipping at the end of the reach, and now the card player is putting on this pressure. Ortega needs to be so wary, maybe change up his game, even go for a takedown, do a clinch, push him against the cage, maybe your best plan here, instead of just going for those flying submissions.
Oh, God damn.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Is Moolah... Oh, what a knockdown then. Isn't Moolah in the team?
I'm not too sure, brother.
Team?
I'm not too sure. We'll find out from the back. Humble's in the chat, and I'm sure he will let us know if that's the case. But these guys, quite honestly, they're bringing an incredible bout. I'm interested to see him go for another takedown. Happy to put himself into the guard of Ortega, but there is only 33 seconds left on the clock, I suppose. Is that enough time? Is that enough time? I don't think it is. I don't think it is, brother. The armbar is his only option here. 20 seconds on the clock. No, that looks like we're going to go and see this second round, but an entertaining first one for sure. A couple of big submissions attempted, a lot of hands being thrown, leather definitely connecting on both sides of the kind of octagon here, Avoider. That was a very, very active first round, to say it in no other term.
Yes, it was. We had the full-on MMA match then. We seen some takedowns, some scrambles, some wild exchanges, and even a couple rocks. That was a great first round. Quite interested to see with not Anthony, because he is a wild man. He's just throwing lefts and rights like there's no tomorrow.
Yeah, and he's got the axe kicks going up there, right? And he managed to land that big spin kick a little bit earlier on. Look at the 1-2s coming down the barrel, trying to use some of that reach that he has. And I think that would be a smart thing for not Anthony to try and implement, is rather than getting inside and throwing those hooks, maybe go down the barrel, right, Doc, and utilize some of that range, try and keep Brian Ortega away from you, because he's landing big damage when he gets on the inside.
Yeah, jab, straight, just straight down the barrel is going to be the idea. Does get out of the way of the kick, goes for the clinch attempt, evidently trying to go for some flying submission, but Mular's happy just to keep on this pressure, keep trying for the clinch attempts, but Anthony's just not wanting his neck grabbed here. The jab straight gets to stun, goes for it, and now we see possibly a flying submission of some type. Again, he doesn't get it. It's Anthony seems well versed. He wants nothing to do with a flying triangle tonight.
Definitely not. I'm seeing some great. Oh! Why don't you jump on?
I mean, look, I kind of understand it, but my God. I mean, look, Mueller's got him a little bit frustrated. I think all these submission attempts, all these clinch attempts, maybe getting to. Oh my God. Just like that, Mueller gets it done on the feet avoider. I was expecting a submission out of this man the way that he was trying to hunt for it, but ultimately that just got his opponent a little frustrated and set up those big hands that got the job done.
I agree there. Like I always say to everyone, you don't know what's going to happen until the night of the fight. You never know. You can always make a prediction. You could say, oh, yeah, he's going to submit him. He's going to do this. You never know until that moment when you're in the octagon.
Exactly right, my man. Exactly right. That does very, very nicely here, Doc, take us on to the main card of the evening. Sorry, bear with me one moment. Just got a word from the back. Okay, so yeah, that's fine. But with regards to this, we move on to our main card of the evening out here, Doc. It's going to be taking us to FSK Gamp up against KM's very own Skitch. Two very, very dangerous opponents from two incredibly well-respected camps within the community. We've seen them compete already here this evening. You saw the caliber of their teammates further down on this card. They're going to kick us off very, very nicely on this main card, and I know that you're going to be rating this very highly as well. Gamp, incredibly well known within the community, and Skitch bursting through from the PlayStation, now on the Xbox side. All of the words that we heard spoken about this man were well deserved. He quite clearly has the skills all round, especially in that striking realm.
Yeah, Skilch is one of the more well-diverse strikers. He's a brilliant striker. He has the ability. We've seen him time and time again put on this pressure, put on this pace, and now we get to see it against Gamp, a well-versed striker, a well-versed grappler. Gamp's all-round game is impeccable, and Skilch is mainly known as a striker. Will Skilch be able to keep this on the feet, keep up that takedown defense, or will Gamp have his way? He's already gone through Van, and the question is, will he be able to go through Skilch?
Yep, well, just a little bit of a forecast. There is going to be a slight adjustment coming up next. After this bout, we're going to be moving one of the fights that was scheduled a little bit further down the card between Hayes and Fadnator up the card, so that will be up next. But as of right now, we're going to be moving on to FSK's very own God Ate My Pig. And like I said, KM's very own, the Kingsman's very own, a recent addition, Skitch, who is a killer, man. I'm interested to see what he could do on the Xbox side. He ended last season incredibly well, Avoider. I think he was 3-0 on the PlayStation side come the end of last season, and now he's come across to Xbox, feels that the 60 FPS is really, really adding to his game, and he's looking to take it to that next level as a result.
You know what really interested me with Skilch, sorry? When he made his PS debut, he was fighting as Justin Gaethje, and his opponent, looks like we got a disconnect then. He was fighting Habib, a 5-star Habib, and he was getting dominated for 3 rounds, and then all of a sudden he just turned it around and he knocked him out. He was getting dominated, and that's what impressed me so much about Skilch.
Yeah, I mean, he's not a man that shies away from a fight. As you see right here, he's gone with the pick of Robbie Lawler, but he's eating bomb after bomb from Darren Till. Oh, the uppercut's there!
And we are into a fight already, a minute into the clock. Lawler packs a punch. Darren Till also packs a punch. He's a bit more kickboxy. Lawler's the boxer of the two. And so if Gamp can't stop the pace of Skilch, Gamp's going to have a very difficult time winning.
Oh my God! That pull was so perfectly timed. As to quote of, my friend on Yars, the mighty Bane, the primetime guarantee is holding true once again. This night of fights as Voider have been fantastic, and these guys are stepping it up a level for the main card to kick us off.
Oh yes, they both woke up and they chose violence today. They were like that. Yeah, violence is the way forward today. It just feels like they both got a chip on their shoulder. Something to prove, because these guys are both top level fighters, if you agree.
Oh, I completely agree. God Ate My Pig has a scary, scary ground game, but the man believes in his hands as well, especially when he's got Darren Till behind the other side of that control. He lands the head kick, Doc, looking to get Skitch out of here quickly, but it's going to be difficult. Skitch, man, he just doesn't shy away. He gets back in your face, continues to walk you down, and try to just continue to implement his own game plan, brother.
Skilch is happy to come forward, put on this pressure. It's so nice to see, especially when Gamp can't get those kicks off just enough to put him back on the back foot. They're doubling up on the straight, hoping to get some stopping power behind him against a cage. Now digs down to the body, elbow follows suit. Just each of them looking for one big counter. You saw this kind of same pace with M-Town versus Leaks, but these two are taking up 2 notches and putting on the pace as well.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, obviously, Sketch, one of the best players on the French scene, period. He's doing a good job here, but I have to say, God Ate My Pig is impressing me with his striking here this evening. I know he's dangerous all round. I've always kind of been more so fearful of his ground game, but the man is doing some work on the feet, the Voider. I mean, just looking pretty silky smooth, although maybe utilizing a little bit too much stamina for this stage of the fight.
Yes, definitely. He's working that body. It's looking really good for God Ate My Pig right now. He's having his way with what a head kick. I can't see this fight go past the third. Sorry. The damage is done, as you can see. Skilch's body is absolutely God.
Yeah, I mean, if one thing this kind of game has ever taught me, though, and, calling these events for so long, Doc, we cannot count anybody out. He's still looking pretty good stamina-wise. His health is definitely at a little bit of a deficit apart from his opponent, but as we saw with some of the pull counters and so on, at any second, big damage can land, and that now seems to be coming the way of God Ate My Pig to open out this second round again. Seems to have Skitch a little bit frustrated as he pushes for that finish.
Oh, God, this is so close. One feint, one wrong move, and the out from either opponent. Lorna may have the less stamina, but as you can tell, he's got the power digging down to the body to head, following forward, putting on his pressure.
Oh, my
Oh, God.
Out of nowhere.
Ah, Jesus, brother. Jesus.
To make a statement, that is how you do it.
God
What a
ate
fight.
Gamp. I mean, FSK Gamp. God Ate My motherfucking Pig. He just flew through the air and sent Skitch to another realm. He sent him to the land of wind and whispers, as we like to say. But, I mean, what a performance from the side of Gamp. Really, really showing up here this evening. Once again, respect much shown to KM and Skitch. Those boys are phenomenal. Compared to Skitch, will definitely be back better than ever. But run up against, a man that it is dangerous for absolutely anybody in this Xbox division here, Doc. The guy's been around for a long time, continues to put on, dominant performances, and this time he's able to do so with some silky smooth striking, courtesy of Darren Till.
He does indeed, the silky smooth, effective, taking hits to the permastam, working down his opponent effectively even when he's on the back foot. And that's how you kind of know when someone's a very good striker, is by their ability to allow themselves to come back and forth, mixing up the pressure, seeing if they can be defensive or aggressive, and timing those shots around that entire style. Skilch can put on the pressure, but Gamp could take it and then back Void.
I agree there. That was a great performance by Gamp. He is a top player. He's been around for a while. Look to Skilch. Skilch is still one of my favourite fighters. I really like Skilch.
Yeah, I completely agree with you, bro. Like I said, head should be held high. Gamp is a well-known player within the community, as fought as the highest levels, within PrimeTime and other promotions. And, he is quite clearly taking this season pretty seriously, as he was very, very much dialed in up against this dangerous opponent here this evening. But just to echo what I said at the beginning of that fight, we are, of course, bringing one of the fights that was scheduled for a little bit later on this evening to very, very now. There was a little bit of a scheduling issue for one of the fighters to... so we've kind of facilitated that moving up of the card, and it's going to be FSK once again, but this time going to be the contender, the former champion in Fadinator, and he is going to be taking on Vex's very own Billy Colley, also known as Hayes. Now, Hayes has been talking some mad trash in the chat, saying that this is his final season. He is going to be going all the way, getting himself, the win, getting himself the gold, and then when he does, he feels like he's going to walk away with his hand raised high and retire champion. But he's got to beat somebody here this evening that, I mean, I don't know how else to say it than Fadinator quite truly is one of the GOATs in terms of competitive abilities within this community out here, Avoider, and we've seen it time and time again. He's had he's probably in a large section of the 10 best fights within Primetime MMA. Him obviously up against Trixie in those matches, along with some of the other absolute brawls he's had. This guy really brings the entire action, so I think that this is a dangerous night for both competitors, and I honestly can't wait to see which way this goes down.
Oh, I'm definitely excited for this fight. All the trash talk leading up to this. Fadinator has been around for a while. He's been a top player for the longest time now. And Hayes, he's been talking a lot of trash. He beat my teammate last week. Fair play to Hayes. Respect to him. And I just hope he could back up what he's saying.
Yeah, I mean, look, Hayes has a chip on his shoulder and always has, right? People doubt him, they underestimate him because of some of the ways that he acts and talks within, the chats. Sometimes he can seem like he, maybe a little bit immature. He gets, likes to, really, really trash his opponents and try to get into the mental warfare of things. But this is a kid that has honestly been around for a long time, and we've seen him rise up and beat people that quite honestly, nobody thought that he would. He got matches with people with Dino when Dino was running hot and destroying people within the community, and he was able to pick up a win over him in a big knockout. So I just don't want people to sleep on Hayes here. I know that the kid has maybe made some enemies out there and likes to push people's buttons, but Fadinator's got his work cut out, and I think that he needs to mind all of his P's and Q's up against a dangerous striker here.
He's done all the shit talking. Now the time is to showcase that shit talking. Already off to a good start, ding down the body, coming up top with the straights. Another jab straight follow. Fad staying fairly patient. Whew, got them confused. Fad is Poirier. And something makes a bit more sense. Fad's coming out very aggressive. Hayes staying patient, looking to find his openings when he can.
And there he gets the damage, and this is what I mean. This guy is dangerous. Fadinator not getting dissuaded by it. Avoider continues to pressure forward. But if that is evidence of anything, it's that you've got to watch yourself up against somebody like Hayes. He will pull, he will counter, and he will send you to the nether realm.
Yes, I agree. I'm quite surprised that we haven't seen Fad go in for the takedown and just go for that early finish like we've seen in his previous fights. But you can't sleep on Hayes. Hayes talks a lot, and he does back it up.
He really does, brother. But I think just to build on your point, that Poirier, obviously in the side of FSK's very own Fadinator, I think he's got to remember, and everybody else needs to remember, that this guy is a savage on the mat, and if he does go for that takedown, he could completely change the entire complexion of this bout. So you make an excellent point there, and that's definitely something to pay attention to going into the rest of this fight. Because that pull counter is there for Billy Colley. Hayes is on it.
This is a deadly place for Fad to be. We all know the power of McGregor can shine. Maybe we'll see him shoot a takedown from this point onwards. Only got a couple of stuns and a knockdown now in his favor. Looks for a pullback elbow, doesn't get it. 1:20 left, 2 minutes 20 left on the clock. And so far, Hayes is having the better success. Fadinator is just making sure to stick that jab out. He's a bit wary of that pullback now. He had a couple pullback elbows, and so maybe shooting a takedown will be the idea here.
This is crazy, because we got Haroon as the champion now. All these fighters coming up, like Caliber just beat Trixie last night. This is so different. Oh, nice spear there.
And that's what he needed. That's why Fadnader can sometimes be levels above. He recognizes openings for, opportunities to change the entire course of a round, right? And that takedown was there for him, Doc. He shot it with absolute confidence, able to spear McGregor to the ground. And he has a minute to work, bro. That's a lot of ground and pound opportunities. And of course, Poirier has some sneaky submissions as well in that back pocket.
Yeah, sneaky submissions. Got top mount. You have side control. Any type of position you can get with Poirier is going to do some damage. Even the full guard at ground and pound is going to just score on the scorecard and be your most effective tool. Hayes does get as a knight here. Evidently, Fad wasn't expecting it. I love to get up with 30 seconds left. It's like another one.
Oh, but Fadnader rocks him. He doesn't like being taunted, pulls the pull, and he is right back in his face, not giving Hayes a moment's breath here. Just look, he's happy to take one. He's saying, I can answer anything you have and give it back tenfold. Avoider, what a way to end that round.
What a round. That was very interesting. I'm very surprised to see Fadnader get rocked early in the fight, and then he's just coming back and he's like, yeah, if you hit me, I'm gonna hit you harder.
It was a beautiful sequence, brother. It was right at the end. That was absolutely fantastic. But they were both recovered very, very well. In fact, Fadnader actually in the driving space in terms of the head health, although he did get knocked down in that first round. Interesting to note, he's got McGregor injured, and now Fad is pouring it on Doc, trying to get that finish.
And it looks like he may do. Only managing to get up the head health is non-existent. Fadnader is that jab mainly. Nearly clips him with the uppercut there. Jab, the lead hook, just to that first round is coming out more to fruition in this second. Narrowly, nearly counters to straight. A minute. Avoider.
Yes. Yeah, I agree. With you there, my words got mumbled up too.
You're all good, guys. You're all good. We've got Fadnader, brother. He is non-stop with the pressure. He definitely has to be careful. Doesn't want to continue to get caught by the counters, but he looks like he's done enough cumulative damage to get Billy Colley, also known as Vex Hayes, out of this fight. But I'm just worrisome that he continues to allow that left hand to connect.
Hey, and we're back on the mat. 3 minutes left to work for Fadnader. A lot longer than the minute we had previously. We know how good Fadnader's striking. We've just seen how good is his grappling. How good is his defense are the questions that need to be answered with another 2 minutes left. We can see a lot of J building. Fad doesn't really want to move or anything. He's waiting for his opponent to move. Both of them are playing a very, very patient game, it seems like, Avoider.
It's very interesting to see Fad just laying on top of him right now. I've never seen him just lay there and not throw anything.
We have a knee. We have a transition finally into Sprawl, digging down to. He's probably going to expect an get up, and he does so, Looney.
Yeah, I think that actually that was just a tactic from Fadnader to allow his opponent to continue to try and move, get a denial off, or even just allow him to gas himself a little bit by throwing a lot of pitter-patter shots. But ultimately, like I said, Hayes is actually a very well-rounded opponent. As much as people sleep on this kid, he knows what he's doing everywhere. It's about whether or not he can rise to the occasion once again here this evening, because Fadnader is a man that's so well-versed that he's experienced the absolute ups and lows of this community, being champion, losing that belt, winning the championship, and so on and so forth. And that's where he wants to be once again. He sees Haroon as champion. He believes that he has the answers should Haroon be able to get past Tad here this evening. But look, when he gets into these later rounds, right, he just kind of steps it up, Doc. He steps it up just that little bit by little bit. He's made his reads. He's made his adjustments, and a lot of the time that just propels him to victory.
Well, the one major issue I'm seeing currently is just Billy Colley's ability to stay out the way of every single shot. He's getting clipped by them, but his defense now is kind of impeccable. As I say that, though, you get clipped by the uppercut. That is commentary cursed in its finest.
Look, Fadnader has a lot of support in the community. I am sure that the Twitch chat, the YouTube chat are going to be going absolutely crazy at this stage for the man getting his hand raised. He had a lot of adversity in that first round, Avoider. I mean, let's be straight here. He got knocked down and clipped basically instantly by Hayes, and just showing some veteran savvy to be able to turn that back around.
He did, yes. He got clipped really early by an elbow. He was dropped, and then he went into that second round with a whole different game plan. He was like, yeah, I got to take this guy out. I'm the top fighter here. He wants that title shot back, you know. He wants to be champion again. And I got nothing but respect for Hayes too. Rocking him early on in the fight. It was a great fight. Unfortunately, he pulled up short, but you can't discredit Fadinator. He's been around for a long time.
Yeah, he's been. One could say he's been around for a while now. And as we say that, we now move on to the very next bout of the evening that was scheduled originally to be the second fight on the main card, and that's going to be LW Big Nige up against Crazy Dragon. Two guys that you can also say have been around for a while now. Doc, I'm sure you're very familiar with these two gentlemen. They're very, very dangerous, especially on the feet. I expect big things from this matchup.
Well, Ginger has a brilliant pullback counter system. He also is very well... Yeah, wrong person. Big Nige has got the pressure. Dragon, I think, was my last league fight, and in that came the adverse effects of him knowing how to use jab straights, of how to effectively use the jab, how to manage that distance. Nige can move back and forth. He's part of the LW camp, as you mentioned, so he's got a bit of the wrestling style, probably got a bit of the counter fighter style as well. So it's going to be this tug of war match between the two of them, looking at one looking to pull, one looking to counter, and from that I expect a very technical and pressure heavy fight in some aspects, I believe.
Yeah, I was just going to jump on the pressure-heavy side of things. Big Nige, as you said, is somebody that's known for his pressure, and as you rightly said, LW as a whole have a lot of counter-strikers, but I would say that Crazy Dragon, interestingly enough, is actually one of the guys that tends to pour on the pressure from that camp. At least he did historically. I haven't seen him fight as of recent too much, but he's back obviously in this new season, and he's looking to make waves out here, Avoider, looking to do so in featherweight here this evening up against Big Nige that has, one of the training partners of Fadinator that we saw a second ago, somebody that kind of came up under his wing, and he believes he's made the necessary adjustments to beat a name like Crazy Dragon here this evening.
Yes, I agree. He's got a good coach in Fadinator. As Aaron would say, got the best coaches for a while now. I've had the best coaches for a while now. Every time I've sparred Big Nige, he has always bullied me. In every single sparring fight we've had, I don't think I've ever knocked him down. He's just literally bullied me. He is a good fighter, and like you said, he has got Fadinator. Very interested to see him using Max Holloway, though. I would have thought Conor McGregor maybe.
Yeah, you could be. I think that maybe it's, especially in the featherweight division, you've got the cardio, right, and everything. I mean, just Holloway's such a hard man to beat in featherweight. But Volkanovski does have the answers in a lot of the cases to get that done. Crazy Dragon, I don't want people to sleep on this kid either. He is a dangerous man, been around the scene for a very, very long time, fought some of the best, fought names like Great Mist and so on in the past, so he's going to be very, very accustomed to the heavy pressure style. And honestly, I expect this to be an absolute war, to be upfront with you. I don't expect to see any kind of, too much of a feeling out process, Doc. I just think that these guys, especially with the records that they had, are going to be familiar with what, comes with competing on a live esporting scene, what comes with those nerves and how to overcome that early so that you give yourself the best possible kind of chance of getting your hand raised come the end of the night.
Yeah, both of them are going to be well versed in just their ability. Both of them have been on this main stage enough times that they're going to be confident in their pace. Already we see the Holloway putting on this pressure. Nige knows how to do it, getting that jab established. Crazy Dragon using Volkanovski, just hoping for any type of really punch or method to get his back away from the cage. Does slightly, but again, Holloway's just going to come non-stop forward, looking every single time put on this pace.
Holloway loves a brawl, don't he? He just loves it.
I mean, he's got that taunt, right? Avoider where he can just like point to the ground and that. It's just like all that little shit is brilliant. I don't think we're going to see too much of it. It looks like Nige is taking this seriously, getting in the face of Crazy Dragon and trying to make him feel a little bit overwhelmed with options. But I think that's going to be a little bit difficult as you see Volkanovski loading up on combinations. He is a man that, behind the sticks with Crazy Dragon that's going to feel very comfortable even though he's being pressured.
Being pressured seems like Nige's game here, just making sure that he's just always in that face, the jabs, the slips, any type of shots he's going to fire, it's always there. straight lead hook, and attempted takedown there, doesn't get it. A front kick follows suit, flying knee as well. And Crazy Dragon is just trying to use the power of Volkanovski to bully his way out of being pressured. But Nige doesn't care. He's going to pit about you with shot after shot, and it showcases it here.
Yes, 100%. Every time I fight Nige, he's always in your face. You can't breathe when you're fighting him.
Yeah, he is a man that will try and kill you by a cut of 1,000, right? He's going to just kind of continue to pitter-patter you in the face. Each shot isn't 100%, it's like 70% each time, but they all land, and eventually something clips you just like that, and he's going to be able to continue this momentum, especially with that cardio, as we pointed out earlier, Doc. I mean, somebody like Big Nige knows how to use somebody like Holloway. I'm sure it's one of his more favored picks.
More favourite picks, definitely by the seams of it. Now lands a body kick. That does some heavy damage, especially when your opponent walks onto it. Both of them pulling back instantly. Minute 30 left on the clock. Pulls back on the switch. Doesn't do that much damage, luckily, Avoider. But those jabs, those long combos of Holloway just getting past that blockade, doing so much damage to the head and block of Volkanovski here.
These pullbacks these pullback counters are doing a lot of damage, the uppercuts. It's very interesting to see these pullbacks. I need to learn them in the game, because every time I fight someone, it's always a pullback, and I just got nothing to answer with. I'm seeing before the fight, a lot of people were like, Nigel Army, chanting that out.
Yeah, I mean, the kid has a lot of support out here, right, guys? I mean, yeah, he's one, like I said, one of the training partners of, as you see in the chat, Optics and Fadnator and a bunch of the other guys. They all come from a very similar place, friends in real life, I do believe, and they help sharpen those skills on UFC 4 to help propel themselves into esporting greatness. As he gets a big spin kick, Max Holloway trying to get that damage off. And I have to say, man, Big Nige is always an entertaining fighter, Doc. He's always bringing the pace. We've come to expect that from him, and the more he's training with the names of Fadnator and the such, the more he's getting developed in terms of the ability to pull those shots and get that sort of style that he's looking for really, really honed in.
Yeah, just your ability to hone in your style as you craft it is the idea here. You see Nige crafting it, honing this entire style of pressure. He's understanding his opponent, which means he can develop it more. Here you see, though, Crazy Dragon's haven't got a read on it, knows that, okay, the feet isn't working, let's take it down to the ground. I've still got quite a good amount of cardio to work, and I'm going to try some stat guard here to get that chin done and dusted. Having a lot of success, but head tail blinking, does get out of sight as stat guard, luckily, with a reversal, but he gets to side control here. Crazy Dragon now into crucifix. This is a lot of damaging positions that could certainly turn the tide of battle here, Avoider.
Don't know if we lost Avoider for a moment, but you're exactly right. Volkanovski, especially in the hands of somebody like Crazy Dragon, he's got a phenomenal ground game, although he did kind of get a little bit overexcited right there and allowed his opponent to get back to the feet. I think he should go back to the grappling, Doc. I don't know if you agree, because he was doing so well with it.
He was doing so well with it there. He landed a couple of shots. A slip hook there does also land for him. It's to work. If we can get a takedown, it's a long time. But instead, ducks under the hook, nearly clips him, Avoider, and both of them are just going at each other like ballistic missiles here.
Yes, they've just chucked out their game plan now, and they're just like, yeah, let's throw another rock there for Big Nige. Sorry, my mic did cut out a moment ago, but as I was saying, it was very interesting to see Crazy Dragon taking him to the ground. Stack guard is one of my favourites to finish someone, because I just quite like that.
It's an aggressive position, right? It's like that Khabib sort of ground and pound where you've got them in that stack guard, you're raining down straight shots, hook shots, and you can see your opponent is wincing under that sort of pain and damage coming his way. But on the feet, I have to say, Crazy Dragon has actually done a sneaky amount of damage to the head health here, and managed to equalize it out. And that block is also kind of starting to become a little bit obliterated. This is actually a lot more closely contested on the feet than I first thought. Oh! Up until there, right? Up until
up until there, getting the block down now, gets to get up. A minute left on the clock, and Crazy Dragon has got a minute or so to maybe win this round back by getting a knockdown himself or getting KO, but instead it looks like Nigel's going to fire everything he has, getting another knockdown there. Now we are into the ground and pound position, looking to get the finish, trying a couple down shots, gets reversed, though.
Into top mount.
This is a dire spot for him, man. Like I said, do not rest on Crazy Dragon's ground game. He lands shot after shot, has his opponent in a dangerous, dangerous spot.
Now we're going into side saddle. We've seen the position time and time before. Interesting for how little time he had left. That was a lovely deny, and that is the end to round 2.
That was a very interesting second round then. The reversals, the knockdowns.
Yes, sir. A lot of action, like I said. I wouldn't expect anything less out of these competitors. They are known within the community for bringing that sort of heat. They want all the smoke all the time and do not shy away from a difficult challenge ahead of them. As you see, once again, Big Nige marching forward, getting the damage off. He's got Crazy Dragon rocked and hurt here, Avoider, trying to get that finished early in the third.
Yes, he has. I was about to say who have you got winning this fight so far, but I was going to say he was Nige is going to finish him now, but obviously they're still standing, they're still trading. It would be nice to see Golden Dragon take him down, maybe, because it is fairly equal on the feet, but Big Nige is getting the better of him.
Both of them are having some success. Nige seems to be going more for an elbow approach and the boxing approach, and that's, I believe, giving some success to Crazy Dragon, getting the slip off there, just managing to find a shot. Both of them going for it, becoming like Beyblades, it seems like. Overhand narrowly avoids it. 3 minutes 20 left on the clock, Looney, and both of them still just going at it with some actually pretty high cardio.
Yeah, I was going to say the cardio was looking good, but the head health is not. And Big Nige was getting some big shots to be landed in those last couple of minutes. And now he's got the ground and pound finish in the stacked card. He heard Avoider shouting from it from the comms booth, and he was happy to oblige, able to pour on the pressure. Max Holloway able to get his hand raised here this evening. I'm sure you're pretty impressed with that performance. Knew that he was going to bring the pressure, right, Avoider, and he definitely did so.
Yes, definitely. He looked fantastic tonight. It was he must have heard me say, "Stack hard, get him." But a great performance by Big Nige. Same with Golden. He looked great tonight. Came up short, unfortunately, but he was fighting a veteran in this game. You know, been around for a long time. Big Nige has.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Recently come back within the Xbox side of the community, and once again, he is a man that has said that he is looking to make waves, and I expect that to be the case as he continues to put on performances like that. And once again, I mean, I just want to kind of echo the points of earlier out here, Doc, knowing somebody like, you know, Crazy Dragon, who has been around the scene for such a long time, who has fought the who's who within the community. That's a big win for somebody like Big Nige, who's still relatively green within the community, although he's getting a lot of experience with fights like that.
Yeah, it's always interesting when you see someone who's getting that experiencing against a truly well veteran opponent such as Crazy Dragon. Crazy Dragon knows to score. He knows how to grapple. He knows how to strike. He knows all the ins and outs in between you can possibly bring against. And Nige showcases that he's got a new aspect to pressure that could be an issue coming forward.
Well, with all of that being said, that was another fight that beautifully takes us into the very, very next one of the evening. We are going to be having TFA's very own K Fired up against the owner of TFA in TFA Pug, a man that has some exceptional skills all around on the game, able to put it together, whether it be on the mat or on the feet. We've seen him utilize an amazing jab, and quite honestly, I came up against him recently in a ranked match, and my god, did that guy just absolutely tear apart my face with a beautiful jab, some nice crosses, and you know, just made it very, very difficult to get in on him. But if there's anybody that's going to know him well, it's going to be one of his campmates, right, Doc? When you train with somebody in a camp, you get very, very familiar with their styles, especially the owner, because the owner is one of the more prevalent characters within that community who's going to be really putting in the work to train with his teammates.
Yeah, both of them are well known to each other, being campmates, and as you mentioned, if you're the owner of the camp, you're probably going to have the most spars with that person, so both of them are coming into this fight. They're probably not going to have much of a feeling out process, very aggressive in their nature, very much looking for the kill, I think will be the statement here, Avoider. Because you know how it goes when you're in a camp, you train with them a lot, you spar with them a lot, 34-12 in terms of a record, so it's just going to be a very, very interesting time.
Oh yes, definitely. I've fought Pug before. Pug's a madman. When I fought him, he's constant pressure. He's in your face. Surprisingly, he throws a lot of strikes. You think, oh yeah, he's going to gas himself out, but the guy, he's just got cardio. You know, any fighter he uses, he's just constantly in your face. And you won't stop until you're on the canvas.
Yeah, and on that point, I mean, he does throw a lot of strikes, right, Avoider, but he always seems to have an incredibly high land percentage, and it's one thing throwing strikes and missing them. Obviously, that taxes your stamina quite heavily, but the way that he goes about it, using more fundamental strikes, allows him to put out a much higher offense, and that kind of overwhelms his opponents in a lot of situations.
Yes, definitely.
Well,
it's quite... Oh, go on.
No, I was just going to say they're starting out quick, brother, not wasting any time as expected. They had over 40 fights between the pair of them, and it looks like it very familiar with what each other brings to the table and not wasting any time trying to land some big damage here, dog.
Big damage is the name of the game. As a beat trip there, and we go straight onto the map. Pedro's got the rubber guard. I believe he's also got a half sweep if you want it, but instead though, Jan takes cold of Crucifix, already digging elbows down. K55 in a very difficult position here. He needs to act quickly, otherwise he's going to be out cold. Just about manages it, but this is already a deadly position to be in.
Yeah, not exactly where you want to be, right, Avoider, and you've got to remember that Jan has that, like you said, that trip, right? And that trip's so hard to deny at times that this option is always there for him with somebody like TFA the Pug, who's got such a scary ground game, especially in top. That's a quite daunting task ahead.
Oh, definitely. I'm quite surprised that he's taken... fired down, but I believe he'd done that last week with Evo. I thought, because they'd been teammates, I thought they would at least stand and bang, but Pug is a savage, you know. Anything to get that win.
Yeah, and look, ultimately being in camps is all well and good, but you are individuals. These camps are to help each other develop, but you will find yourselves competing against each other when you're all, when a camp's doing so well, especially when we have singularized, kind of communities. So we have the Xbox and the PlayStation division. So basically everybody fights everybody, right? Especially when the cream is rising to the top and you find yourself on similar win records. This is the sort of battle you need to find yourself in, and ultimately, it's about who's willing to take that next step, Doc, to get their hand raised, who really wants that spot and feels like they can get the championship around their belt.
It really is. The early season's always really close. A couple of wins is going to make or break your title run. In this case, both of them are looking for that one win. Both of them 1-0. So then get to 2-0. You've already put yourself in title contention. Pug's digging down to that body fairly early on. K55 in a difficult position. Down and knocked down. Goes for a body kick. Doesn't get it with a minute left on the clock of fight. And he also comes out. That jab of Pug's is always there, always stiff. To be existing.
Yeah, I mean,
it's over.
Pug meant business, brother. He meant business here this evening, not wasting any time getting his hand raised, and did so in a pretty emphatic fashion. He may have gone a Peter Yan pick. I know that isn't the most popular within the community these days, but ultimately they're taking it serious at this stage. He is a main card fighter. He is going to, have the kind of have the need. He did what he needed to. He didn't take his teammate that he had a win record on too lightly, right, Doc? He must have felt confident going into that one, but he still took him very, very seriously, and that's probably why he's got his hand raised here this evening.
Yeah, Pug mixed up his entire style. He went from grappling to striking to grappling to striking, and then at the end he took on that more striking approach. He put on the pressure, make sure the jab was there, always there. That's one of the most crucial things you need to pay attention to. If you have a jab like Pug's and it's always there, you're gonna have a very easy time making reads on your opponent and then getting finish. And did that.
Yeah. Well, with all of this being said, as I say all the time, we move on to the next part of the evening, moving ever closer to the main event. We have some absolutely fantastic bouts ahead of us. Of course, Hayes and Fadinator has already happened, so if you are joining the event a little bit late, you will have to watch it back a little bit later on Twitch or YouTube. But going forward, we do have some absolute killers. We have GSP is GOAT. He's going to be stepping up again. Oh, he's going to be facing, I should say, Ginger, who is stepping up on short notice. Ginger, a competitor from the Xbox side that we know very, very well. One of your very own over here, Avoider, from the TMF side of things. I expect big things from him, especially on the PlayStation side of things, although GSP is War. He's a dangerous fella, man.
He is, yes, he is. They're both very, very dangerous fighters. I'm interested to see Ginger fighting on, making his debut on the PS side tonight, because obviously he's an Xbox player. Ginger's a really good fighter. He's really interesting. I like Ginge. We've always had wars when we fought. JSP not GOAT, is it? Warlord, sorry. I'm not sure. I don't know much about him, unfortunately. I'm still new, like I said earlier. So let's see what he brings.
Yeah, 100%. Like I said, he's an incredibly entertaining fighter for sure. He's obviously hovering over the Conor McGregor pick right now, and that's exactly what I expect from him. He's got entertaining hands. You know, people see that GSP name and they think that a lot of the time that means that the guy's just going to be trying to shoot those double legs, but not GSP is War. The War section really, really highlights the part of his game plan which he brings, which is absolute chaotic strikes and kind of beautiful damage to the stage. But like you said, Ginger is very, very well experienced on the Xbox side of things. We'll have to see if he's made the necessary adjustments to compete on PlayStation Dock, because as I'm sure you can attest to, it's a bit of a different kettle of fish.
Yeah, the difference in the playstyle was always interesting. My personal issues is the controller. The triggers are way too sensitive, but that's just me personally. It also plays a bit smoother, a bit faster. I feel like striking's a bit cleaner. The grappling's a bit more sketchy, but neither of them seem to mind it. Both of them putting on this pressure already. Ginge having some fun.
GSP War just went for GSP is GOAT. War just went for a rolling thunder in the opening goal with Conor McGregor. Man, he's getting spicy out there, doing some good damage on Ginger right now, who is really, really the guy that's pouring on the pressure, but eating the bigger shots. Avoider got to be a little bit concerning for your campmate, who's got sat down early.
Yeah, and he's got to start protecting himself. He is getting beat up right now. He's just got rocked. JSP GOAT is looking really good tonight. Oh, and a hip toss there for when they're back on their feet. It's quite interesting to see Ginger Orthodox using Dustin Poirier.
Oh, for sure. I think that Ginger is a gentleman, if I'm not mistaken, who doesn't actually like fighting out of Southpaw. And I actually think that's a deficit in a lot of people's games that they need to work on, because it's just the same, bro. It's just the same. It's just reverse, right? It's just mirrored. So if you can really start to work on the ability to fight from both stances, it can play dividends to your game style all around here, dog.
It really can. It's one of the difficulties that I face myself. It's just the buttons. Like you say it's the buttons. It really isn't. It's your entire brain being wired differently. But Ginger doesn't need the stances when he slams McGregor on his hands and knees. And now we're into the full guard with 2 minutes left on the clock, getting the get up here. And GSP now playing back, trying to get the lead hook going just so he can do some damage against the constant pressure of Ginger.
Oh, yes. There is a huge stamina difference right now. Oh, nice combo by the Ginge then. You know what? I'm going to come back out of retirement and I'm going to...
Oh, that's what you want to see. Putting on his pressure here. Now digging down that block.
Mate,
is
you might
so
have
low.
He
does.
Ginge! Ginge with the TKO.
He steps up on short notice, gets the job done. We have a gentleman joining at the end of that, seeing this big knockout, saying, how do I get involved? That Discord link right there is how you get involved, my man. Come join, showcase your skills, just like Ginger did here. He steps up on short notice, takes out a savage in GSP is War. GSP is GOAT War. This kid, like I said, was a dangerous competitor, has fantastic grappling, decided to look to use his striking and showcase that here this evening up against Ginger, but like I said, Ginger's so well versed out here, Avoider, that he was able to make some necessary adjustments after some difficulties to get his hand raised.
Yeah, he probably had Chins and Crypto in his ear screaming at him. So to change that up, and he done good, and especially to make his debut on PS.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that was a great debut for him. I don't know if that's something that he's going to continue to do going forward, whether or not he's looking to make a run on that side of the divisions. But a beautiful matchup. Now, this does take us into a match that was highly anticipated by many. I know that he is stepping up on short notice. We're going to be having Aaron, who picked up his win in his last matchup. It was his debut win come last time out. He did a fantastic job, had a toughly fought bout up against his opponent Adam, who was looking to pour on the pressure, made some necessary adjustments with the corner that he has. As he continues to say, he's had the best corner for a while now, and he believes that corner and the adjustments that they've taught him to be able to make will be the deciding factor here this evening. But he does have his hands matched up for him, or yeah, he has his work cut out for him, is what I should say here, Doc. Because he's up against a guy that's been around the scene for a very long time, mix-ups that, like the name says, he mixes it up. This guy is an absolute savage in all departments, and the grappling in particular, maybe what he will be looking to lean on somebody that's a little bit greener to the scene like Aaron.
Mix-ups knows the score. He knows how to strike, he knows how to grapple, he knows, as you said, his namesake, he knows how to mix it up. So, Aaron's coming in under the bright lights, scared, lonely, afraid. Now he's got to showcase that he's got the ability to come on the main card for the first time against someone who knows how to fight, who's been here time and time before, and this is going to be a very interesting fight to see how it plays out.
So yes, I'm very interested in this fight. Obviously, Mix-Up has been here for a long time. He's got great grappling. He's got hands, he's a good all-round fighter. Aaron is still new to this, but since training with the FSK boys, he's improved a lot. He has improved a lot.
Yeah, he definitely has. One thing that he definitely needs to do, though, is get the stream up. He is trying to cut those final pounds, apparently, is Aaron. Maybe the nerves getting a little bit of the better of him. He has his family cheering him on in the back, but it is time to go, my man, and I think that we are ready to get into this match in a couple of seconds. It looks like apologies, I'm just he is live. He is live. There you go.
Hey,
we were just about to skip ahead, all right? We're patient guys. Like I said, we'll allow those these competitors to cut their final couple of pounds should they need to. We know that these guys like to get their grub in. Some tiramisu can go a long way, especially after a nice meal. But here we go. Okay, BSD Mix-Ups up against the ever dangerous Aaron. Like he said, he believes that he is going to go on a run here himself. In this season, Doc, he said he's going to go 10-0, get the belt, and retire. He feels like all of the adjustments over previous seasons after picking up, in the last season, I think he had a difficult run, right? I think he went, 1-3 or something like that. This season, he's 1-0, up against a tough competitor. He feels like he's done those adjustments. He's made those adjustments with one of the best corners that, are about, and that's what he's looking to showcase here this evening. He's looking to showcase that leveling up against Mix-Ups. Oh, apologies, lads. Bringing you back on the cameras. I had.
Yeah. I was reading into the call for 2 seconds. That was a bit interesting. Anyhow, we do have Mix-Ups. We have Aaron and Poirier mirror match in the lightweight division. Both of them evenly stayed on statistics-wise. Now it's just about fighter skill and who is the better fighter. Aaron in the blue gloves, Mix-Ups in the red. Let the show begin.
Yes, sir. Touching them up. I don't expect any wasted time here, right, Avoider? These guys have been mixing some words leading up to it, really kind of saying that, or exclaiming, I should say, that they're the ones that are going to get their hand raised. And I think there's a lot on the line for both competitors here. Oh,
yes, I think so too. Because you know what Aaron's like, he loves to wind people up. But he also wants to change himself around. He wants to be a champion. He's improved greatly, and he's coming across a top fighter, Mix-Up, who's been a long time.
Exactly right, brother. Exactly right. And Mix-Ups is looking to take charge of this fight already, taking center stage out here, Doc. Utilizing a lot of space to be able to back up to when he needs to, and then those kicks come back into play, and he regains that space. Aaron trying to make the necessary adjustments so far, seems to be staying patient and not getting too flustered, although some of those strikes are starting to bleed through a little bit there, Doc.
Just always stay patient. Make sure that you don't end up with the strikes bleeding through, because if the strikes end up bleeding through, you're going to go have the issues. Takedown here, though, by Mix-Ups. Aaron on bottom, he's got to stay patient, stay normal. Just make sure that if you make any mistakes, then you're going to have an issue.
Oh, yes, definitely. He needs, like you said, Doc, he needs to stay patient. Because I think he's still learning the ground. He's not as confident as he should be.
Yeah, I mean, I believe that he's been concentrating on his feet, right, Avoider? That's where he's been mainly putting a lot of his attention. He wants to be an entertaining fighter. The ground game may be where he's lacking, and that looks to be where Mix-Ups is trying to exploit that hole right now.
Yes, definitely. You could see the advantages that Mix-Up has got over Aaron on the ground right now.
Yeah, I think that obviously having the corner of the likes that
nice
he does.
reversal.
Yeah, maybe he has been working on that ground game, right, Dog? That was a nice little block, nice reversal, and we'll have to see what he's able to get done. Maybe he chooses to separate, but he does have quite a lot of time to work from this position.
Yeah, a lot of time to work. Winning position, a minute left, does get a backup on you. Aaron evidently wanting to have a more striking style instead of a grappling style. Mix-Ups. Happy to keep it, though, on the feet as well. Staying fairly patient, putting on his pressure. Goes for leg kicks, doesn't get it. A minute 50 seconds left on the clock, and both opponents are staying fairly calm, fairly collected. Avoider.
Yes, definitely. It's quite interesting because you could see the improvements from Aaron, especially on his feet now. And he should have a lot of confidence from getting that reversal and back up on their feet. Because you got like a guy like Mix-Ups whose grappling is ridiculous, you know.
Yeah, he's definitely a dangerous man when it hits the mat. As you see, though, BSD Mix-Ups able to probably securely, confidently win that round, I should say. A lot of top control, more significant strikes. But Aaron did look good in moments, and I think that that's going to be what he's going to be trying to lean on going into the second round, is that he needs to get his hands going. He needs to be the one that takes the charge of this fight, so to speak, Doc, and start to impose his will. He can't start to react to what Mix-Ups is doing. He needs to be the one that's going first.
Playing second fiddle is the issue of the night. It seems like if your opponent is leading the fight, you can't get the damage off. And as you mentioned, it seems like Mix-Ups is getting that jab out, getting a bit more effective, letting Aaron come forward, getting met, and walking onto the punches, which is then doing all the damage you can. Does get the takedown, gets the defense, though. And again, only a minute into this round, it is still to play for, but I feel like, again, Mix-Ups is just leading this fight again.
Oh, yes, that was a very nice combo then by Aaron. It's interesting to see Aaron's stamina, really good.
Yeah, no, it is definitely doing very well. But the damage of his head held started to really, really add up as Mix-Ups mixes it up, continues to land combination after combination on the dome piece of Aaron. He needs to pull it together right here, right now, get back to his feet and find his senses. Get on that bike, so to speak, Avoider. He needs to continue to circle, cannot be engaging for a moment, allow himself to fully recover.
Yeah, and he needs to recomposure himself right now. He needs to just take a step back, just a little breather, because he's throwing wild strikes, you know. He's connecting, but then he's throwing strikes well out of range.
Yeah, no, that's a really, really good point, brother. Once again, though, we find ourselves back on the mat. There is 2 minutes 20 left on the clock, Doc. This is your realm, sort of speak. Aaron is on his back. What do you want to see from this man to be able to work his way back to the feet?
You have to know, if you're on bottom, at least within the general grappling game, is maintain your guy in half guard, or apparently let him get up is also an idea. Is maybe that just works in your favor. Mix-Up, starting to put on his pressure, doing the jab straight, doubling up on that jab, mixing with a straight. As this entire main card has been about getting the Mix-Up another lovely takedown there and making sure your jab works perfectly. And in this case, both of them are working effectively. Gets the back here, a minute 20 left on the clock, Looney, and it's a beautiful deny.
Yeah, honestly, this is one of the interesting thing about mix-up. Sometimes he'll get up just to take you down again, to reset the position. I've never understood it, but it honestly works for the man really, really well. We don't get to see his stamina, but I got to imagine that he's feeling fairly comfortable in order to continue to, put on this sort of game. And as you see, probably a large stamina advantage, because he got an easy slice over there, Avoider, into that half guard, with what seemingly, seemed like Aaron had almost full stamina. So I think mix-ups is looking ahead.
Yes, I agree there. It did look like he was having a stamina advantage right at the start, but now it's depleting where he's just being taken down. He's just having body strikes to the body constantly, constantly just being laid on top of. It's not looking good for your stamina if someone's laying on top of you for a couple minutes.
Yeah, no, exactly. And I think the mix-ups, he has that sort of style, right, where he's happy to take it to the third round. His game plan is to not really have to, kind of take too many risks in the opening go, and he'll hit you when he can hit you, he'll take you down when he can take you down, and then come the third round, he normally likes to kind of take it to that next level. I think that's what we're about to see from him. I feel like he's probably going to feel like he's ahead, and that's exactly what he's doing. Look at him, just turning it up, pointing, taunting, and saying he's trying to get it. Has to be careful though, bro. Has to be careful.
Nearly got it there, and Poirier's already starting to put on this pressure a bit more. Evil One, you can get his gangler statement to Evil One. Aaron's now on the front foot again, trying to get the payback for the last 2 rounds of grappling. He's evidently a bit frustrated, a bit fed up, and mix-ups again. Gets that distance on, comes in with the lead hook, staying patient, letting Aaron walk into his pocket. He comes out, fights him, and then backs off again as soon as Aaron starts backing off. It's a brilliant way to keep the distance, just to keep the pace of the fight into his realm instead of being overtaken in terms of pressure.
Yes, definitely. Ooh.
He goes for another takedown. I think that would be prudent for him. Like I said, mix-ups will take any opportunity given to him, Avoider. Aaron, having a lot of adversity, but I have to, put this out there, of course. Aaron took this fight on short notice. It was a high-risk, high-reward situation. He still has 3 minutes 10 on the clock, but he is having all he can handle from probably his toughest test to date in BSD mix-ups.
Yes, definitely. This is his toughest fight so far. It's quite
We'll have to see what his defense holds up like here. It looks like the submission bar is staying about equal. Of course, there's a quite evident stamina advantage, as you see, by the speed of which the submission bar is moving up. Of course, Aaron is running on empty. Doc, this is actually going to be incredibly close.
This is going to be incredibly close. Even my glasses having a difficult time to see how close it's going to be. The red slowly sneaking up a bit more. It could actually be it, and I think he may get it.
Yeah, he has.
Yes.
He does.
Respect where respect is due. Respect for Aaron for stepping up on short notice, taking this risk. It did not pan out for him on tonight's card. 1-on-1 is what he moves to, but no shame to be had out here, Avoider. That was up against an incredibly dangerous opponent, Mix-Ups, who comes from one of the more OG camps in the community, the BSD lads, the Body Snatchers degree, and they managed to get their hands raised once again.
Yes, definitely. He needs to hang his head up high because he had a good performance. Mix-Up is obviously was in a top camp, and he is still a top player. You can't discredit Aaron. Fair dues to Mix-Up for this fight, and fair dues to Aaron for taking this fight on short notice.
No, exactly right, brother. Exactly right. With that being said, we will skip straight on to the next one. We do have up next FSK Keza up against BFAP Jakey, 2 guys that we know very, very well within the community. Dog, I'm just going to throw this one to you for a second there, brother. How about you lead us into these 2 absolute savages?
Well, Keza is a notorious. He has some odd picks. We've seen him fight around. He previously fought, I believe he fought Caliber in a Thomas Almeida mix-up matchup. On the other hand, you have BFAP Jakey well versed. We've seen the BFAP crew yesterday with Slick Colt coming in and getting a flying guillotine on Moffat Man using Dominic Crusoe. Again, you will understand his entire campmates understand him very well. I personally see this as a striking match purely for the way how Jakey has evolved. He's evolved from a grappler into a striker, become more prominent in that grappling because he's stuck to it since then.
It cut out then, sorry.
Jakey is a very effective a striker now because he beat Killer Jake. He's built up his name over and over again and been very effective in it.
Oh yes, he has. Yeah, it's very nice. Good to see Jakey's improvement. He's coming up against a good fighter in FSK Keza. You know, Keza's a top player. He's been around for a while. Same as Jakey. Jakey's been here for a while, and he's improved a lot over the last couple seasons.
He definitely has. I was just going to say, he definitely has. I expect big things from this bout. We're not going to waste any time. Going to get straight into it. Two guys that are going to be very familiar with each other. They were previously campmates, I do believe, at one point or another. But nevertheless, we're going to see Jakey, like I said, up against Keza here. Should be a very, very, very fun fight.
Yes, it should be. And by the looks of things, it's going to be a Piotr Jan mirror match here.
Yeah, it would appear so. And I mean, look, this is something that's not currently in place, but I think that now would be probably as good a time to mention it as any. There are announcements coming in the very near future to make some subtle changes so that we don't see as many of these things happening. And one of that thing will be that there will be no more mirror matches, probably from next week's events going forward, but full announcements to come. We do see it here this evening, of course. Some people love them, some people hate them. Of course, it does give you an indication of who is the better player with that fighter, I suppose, and maybe all-rounders. They do have completely equal tools going into this bout, Avoider.
Yes, maybe you should adopt my idea and start using the 4-star fighters as you've done in the tournament.
We will see what's on the cards come the announcements, brother. But these guys going ham, not giving us much time to consider or ponder those opportunities. Keza known for trying to take his opponent's heads off, and Jakey answering back with counters. My God, no time wasted out here, Doctor.
Jakey's already starting to a very fast pace, so is Keza. Both of these are looking for a brawl. It seems like with any fight these two in the first minute or so, he's just brawling, because this is what it is. This is rock'em sock'em robots to the max, it seems like, Avoider.
Yes, it is. I'm really intrigued with Jakey's striking. He's quite an awkward striker, you know, but he's so effective.
Yeah, exactly. And what a pull counter from Keza, doing the FSK boys proud, continuing to hammer combinations in his opponent's face, really trying to make it a difficult night for Jakey. He has to be careful not to walk onto another counter just like that, though. I mean, these guys are really, really tuned into their head movement, Avoider. It's a beautiful scene to see.
It is very nice. These pull counters, they do some damage, mind. They do a lot of damage. And this fight, it is a brawl, like Doc said. They it seems like they just don't like each other. They're like, let's fight. Let's just brawl it out.
And I want to put this out there real quick as well, Doc. I mean, you know as many do, Jakey B has a sensational ground game, so this is only 3 minutes into the first round. He seems to want to throw hands. And never mind, he is out cold.
You don't need a ground game for that.
Yeah, I mean,
Keza didn't need any grappling. He's a black belt with those hands ducking under that kick and just putting the lights out of Jakey. That went from 0 to 100 in about 5 seconds, and that is how you do a fight on the main card of Primetime.
Yes, sir. I mean, look, to quote Michael Bisping, the best takedown in the game is that left hand, and he landed it with absolute picture-perfect precision out here, Avoider, able to sleep his opponent in a fight that looked pretty kind of back and forth, you know, big flurries from both guys.
Oh, yes, 100%. Well, you see Keza getting dropped early in the first, and then that spinning death kick is hit or miss, you know. You can either land it and it's going to put your opponent out, or if you just duck under it, it's game over for you. It's lights out. Like, you're going to sleep.
It truly is. It really is, brother. And I just want to point out those stats. Look how close those statistics are. 31 significant strikes on both sides of the equation. Keza actually landing less than Jakey B, only 7 to Jakey's 10, but those 7 were enough to close out this show. That perfect duck, the timing on it, I mean, just absolutely beautiful work. Like you said, Doctor, exactly what we would expect to see on this main card. Savages, left, right, and center. So with the next one, we do move on to our co-main event of the evening. We're going to be having TMM AJ Bads, a man that we saw recently compete. I believe he even fought in the Grand Prix and looked absolutely sensational, Doctor. He does have his work cut out for him, though. Filthy Uncle Ben, a man that's been showing a lot of love within the community and has a sensational style, a fan-friendly one to say the least. I think this is going to be crazy, my man. I can't believe I'm about to say this, but I think we're about to see Eddie Wineland be Song Yadong, and if they do, these guys will actually have my eternal respect, and quite genuinely, everybody should have their names on their tip of their tongue after a pick like this.
I mean, Filthy Uncle Ben is a wild person in himself. He has come out so many times, looks so aggressive, looks so well. The pressure, the pace he puts on is impeccable. If we get to see a Song Yadong or Eddie Wineland do so, Eddie Wineland reminds me of the old boxers who would always stick their hands out and fight and look like a mental person. So if we get to see one of them on a co-main or a primetime event, it will be golden. Let's hope we do. We do get to see a Song Yadong pick.
I respect anyone who uses
Oh,
it.
no, not random.
I was going to say, I respect anyone who uses Eddie Wineland. But...
Evidently showing he's on any fighter, so he gets Sandhagen.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, the last minute mix-up, I thought Filthy Uncle Ben doesn't give no shits. He'll fight any man, anytime, and I think these are good mix-ups, man. I mean, Sandhagen has a lot of range to be utilized at his disposal, and we saw from AJ Bads before, he does like a sidestep, he does like to switch that stance. And of course, Song Yadong Avoider has some really, really silky, smooth boxing, and actually has that back step that Cody Garbrandt has as well, so that's something to pay attention to should he be able to utilize it.
Yes, definitely. I believe does he train with Team Alpha Male in real life?
Oh, he does, brother. He does. And on the point of training, I believe on the side of Filthy Uncle Ben, he is a man from KIA, and they are killers in action as he's seeing right here, turning it up quickly on AJ Bads, who was able to stop that takedown, Doc. That was a quick turn of pace.
Well, so far, the main points I've seen from Filthy Uncle Ben is his willingness to double up on the hooks, the head kicks. He's doubled up on a couple of those lead hooks as well as the head kicks, and they have been have done massive damage so far, even getting the knockdown so far. Filthy Uncle Ben putting on this pressure, just hoping to find any shot. Sandhagen may have the better stats, but that doesn't matter when it seems like Uncle Ben's got the better technique here, Avoider.
Yes, definitely. I'm a fan of both of these guys. Filthy Uncle Ben, he's just an interesting character. I've spoke to AJ Bads before. He's a decent bloke. You know, I like these both, and they're both great fighters. You know,
yeah, entertaining styles as well. Avoider, brother. They really, really do turn up the pace, as you can see. Willing to trade on absolutely anything. Gets the flying knee, and he continues the momentum. Filthy Uncle Ben trying to get that finish, seeking the kill shot right here. But my God, is Sandhagen getting on that bike out here, Doc, and circling, doing a good job of trying to mitigate that damage.
Filthy Uncle Ben showcasing that there is no need to worry. He's putting on his pressure. Bad's having a very difficult time. Couple of jabs come out, a straight follow suit. Uppercut also gets him. This is a close fight, a very deadly fight, and it seems like Hagen needs to get out of being on the front foot. Instead, though, meets a heel to the chin, hoping to get a knockdown there.
Do you know what I'm quite interested in is Filthy Uncle Ben's right head kick. It's like a heat-sinking missile. You know, he hasn't missed a shot with that.
Mate, he isn't missing many shots, period, as he sets down AJ Bads once again, and then a second time. This has got to be the finish here. Filthy Uncle Ben for the KIA boys, about to get his hand raised, and he does.
He does so.
Ooh, my God. My God.
That is a hell of a way to close out a co-main event leading up to the main. A first-round finish with Song Yadong against Sakura Sandhagen. Filthy Uncle Ben playing the filthy game and getting a mighty victory in that round.
My God. I mean, look, I'm going to say two things. We have a slightly drunk Mr. Humbledink in the chat saying Filthy Ben is on a collision course with that belt. And then shortly following, Filthy Uncle Ben using a highlight my message. Where's my shot? Ooh, I think this guy wants that smoke. And do you know what? With performances like that, I think the matchmakers there, Doc, are going to struggle to deny this man. I mean, my God, that was a brilliant performance.
Very Filthy Uncle Ben looked so good in that co-main event. First round finish as well. You can really argue anything you want. So impressive, such a good job there.
Well, with that being said, we do move on to the main event of the evening, the most highly anticipated bout of some time. It is the newly crowned champion, a controversial figure, recently making big adjustments to his, to his style that was able to get a win over a formerly dominant champion in Trixie. Haroon is trying to reform his character both within the community and within the cage as he looks to continue to put on dominant performances here this evening, up against a man that we all know and love within the community, Vex Tadpole, a guy that is known as the human highlight reel over here, Avoider. The guy has knockout after knockout on his resume, and he believes, with a lot of bad blood involved, that he is going to do so here again this evening up against Haroon.
Yes, I agree there. He is a human highlight reel. You could check his Twitter page. You could probably see me on there getting 6-piece by him. The guy is just a beast, but you can't take it away from Haroon. Haroon, people doubted him. And out of nowhere, he comes out and he beats Trixie. Trixie's the man, He's been the man for a long time. No one could beat him and defeated for so long. And then Haroon just came out and dominated him.
Yes, exactly. And I know that, Trixie, after taking that last loss, is going to work on his things and he's going to try to put together another run, of course. That man is a champion. But right now, this is the championship that is on the line, Doctor. I want to point out to all of the viewers at home, make sure to get your votes in. Who do you think is going to win? There is 1 minute 23 left on that clock as we go into this main event of the evening. It will be 5 rounds, championship on the line. Haroon, the defending champion, his name is Scythe on the Xbox side of things, and of course on the opposite end, Tadpole, representing Vex, will be going Dustin Poirier. Dustin v. Conor McGregor. We see it once again. This time, the Xbox Championship is on the line there, Doc. You love to see it.
Yeah, this is a rivalry that cannot be ended with words, but the only way they know how, and that is fighting, to quote the introduction of tonight. The two men won't be satisfied until one of them is the last man standing, and this is where we are. We've got Herb Dean as rest. Conor versus Dustin. Let the fight begin.
No wasted of time. No, there's no love lost in this one, my man. Trust me, these guys do not like each other. Tadpole has a lot of bad blood for Haroon, and it is reciprocated in tenfolds. They are looking to take each other's heads off, and they want to they don't really want a quick finish in this one, guys. They want to punish their opponent as much as they can. I want to take this moment to give a big shout out to TFA the Pug, giving out 5 community gift subs. That guy did the damn thing in the cage this evening and comes through with a lot of love afterwards into this main event. You'd love to see it, your dog.
We do love to see it. The support from the community is always guaranteeing. With this type of main event, it's something to celebrate. Both of them already starting on a fairly high pace. The stamina's already had a significant indent on it. Both of them just picking apart each other. That jab, straight lead hook, fakes into it. And the guest stunned Dixon into that body. Tad putting on his pressure, hoping to get some type of finish so very early on. Make sure you don't gas out. You've got 5 rounds to work here, Looney.
Yeah, and he's using a lot of stutter steps. He seems to be really feeling his momentum at the moment. He has to be careful. The champion is on his front foot, trying to get any sort of damage that he can off. Obviously, what Haroon does best is bring the chaos to the cage avoider, but that's ultimately why Tadpole is the human highlight reel, is that his chaos is normally a that next level above his opponent's.
Yes, definitely. He is the human highlight. He is a class fighter. Both guys are. It looks like Tadpole is having his way at the minute. You see Haroon is taking center of the octagon, but it looks like Tadpole is having his own way with him with the striking.
Yeah, exactly right, brother. Exactly right. The body, the elbow, and that's what's so dangerous from Haroon. He has some really, really, kind of silky counters as he gets another rock, sits him down, gives him the old taunt. He doesn't want the finish on the mat. He wants to make an example, and that's going to allow Tadpole the opportunity to get back into the fight, Doc. And he's not going to like that, brother. He's going to want to get his revenge quickly.
He's got to be careful though. Making the big counters is going to do him in. The head health so low of McGregor's. McGregor's just constant, always there. The body's also getting work now. He knows the fact if he gasses out, he's going to have issues, especially with someone like Tad who knows how to capitalize on every shot. And so how Haroon's playing this, he's playing it slow, he's playing it steady, just slowly working down, making sure that both of their jabs are well established. He's really dictating how this fight's going here, Avoider.
Yes, he is now. He has changed the pace. He's changed it around. He must have heard me. He must have heard like the Avoider's going on about tadpole.
The champion, right? The champion, like I said, a controversial man. I'm sure there are many cheering him on and many who are hoping for his downfall. He is trying to prove all of his supporters right and all of his haters wrong as he continues to weather the storm in this bout and change the tides, Doctor. I mean, he was getting kind of just absolutely lit up to start with, and then obviously he has turned it around, taunted his opponent, maybe got in a little bit into Tad's head, and maybe he just needs a couple of seconds to reset. He can't continue to walk onto this damage, brother.
A battle of wills, a battle of attrition. Tadpole's hoping to find some shot, but as you mentioned, if he keeps walking onto the damage, that will's eventually going to go. Does get a counter, digs down the body, doesn't get it. That elbow does, though, digs under, gets the knockdown. Haroon's in a deadly position here. Could get finished, but so far, so good. Now we see Danny taken down to the mat. A complete change of pace compared to the first round.
Yes, complete change. This fight is crazy, you know.
Oh my god.
Both guys.
That it is, brother. That it is. 90. Oh my god! I just checked the predictions. 92% of people were betting on Vex Tad. That's a big betting line against the champion, and he's trying to get that job done here in Top Mount. But able to get the separation is the champ. Back on the feet with Conor McGregor trying to land some big bombs once again here. Avoider.
I was going to say, do these guys realize it's a 5-round fight, you know? Oh, God.
I don't think they care. They just want the finish. This is a heated rivalry if I've ever seen one. The fan favourite being Tad. Haroon's the outsider. He's the champ, though, and he's got the point to prove he can do this. He's definitely made an enemy in Tad to bear witness later down the line, but 2 minutes left on the clock. This is the second round. We've still got another 3 to go who gets past here, Looney, and this is still, they're both just technical.
Bro, honestly, it's non-stop action. They're continuing to land and chip away at that head health, both blinking at all moments. The stamina is basically non-existent. And a knockout from Haroon. My God.
Well,
take a bow, Haroon. He is able to call himself a true champion at this stage after he was able to defeat Trixie in his kind of last outing. He actually came into the Discord chat and he said, people congratulating him and this, that, and the other. And he said, I'm not a champion until I've defended the belt. And that's what he's been able to do here this evening up against an incredibly dangerous opponent in Tadpole. I'm mesmerized with the adjustments that this guy is making, both inside the community and outside. I think that if he continues on this route or on this track, Dog, he could be a troublesome character for whoever comes up agagst him.
Troublesome in the cage, hopefully peaceful outside of the cage. He played it well. He did what he had to do, and Tadpole just ended up walking through a lot of those shots. Congratulations to both of them. That was a fantastic fight around 2 rounds of pure madness and action.
Yeah, I think Avoider, right, both guys can hold their head high in this one. For a main event, they came out and they fought like it was a 3-round bout, really, really laid it all on the line. And although there was a lot of bad blood, I'm sure they can both at least respect each other's skills inside that cage.
Yeah, definitely. I think they will respect each other after that fight. That was a good performance. There was a lot of bad blood going into this, but respect to Haroon, respect to Tad. Both great fighters. Tad, keep your head up high, mate. Title shot will come again.
Yeah, 100%. Now, at this stage, of course, that does bring us to the end of the night. I want to take a couple of moments just to thank each and every one of you that helped put this event together. You did a fantastic job making these matches, making sure the card run together beautifully. So thank you, obviously, to the commentators with me here this evening. You guys have done a fantastic job as well. It has been a pleasure calling these fights with you. We are going to be pushing the love forward with a raid to the community, so please join that. We can make somebody's night, which, obviously within a tight niche community like this, a lot of the time that support goes a long, long way. It can really, really make somebody's day. until the next one, which will be tomorrow in the FSK tourney, we will have 8 of the baddest competitors going against each other, trying to fight their way up for some money on the line and an ESFL comp role. So until that one, much love. Peace out from myself, Avoider, and Doctor, and we will see you in the next one.
Thanks, guys.